could I know that two things would happen that bright spring that would change my life? And that after that time, I'd never be the same man again. First, I would kill a man. And then I'd meet a woman. The only one I'd ever loved.
Wake me up in the morning from 1 till 6. Knock at the door just after 4. I'm up in a couple of ticks. At a party or a christening, I stay out now and then.
Lem.
And I'm nearly dead if I'm not in bed.
Lem, what's the matter with you? You deaf or something?
Oh, it's you.
Well, who did you think it was? Where's Scar?
No, wait. Vint. Oh, Vint. I don't want you to be flying off the handle.
Why should I fly off the handle?
Well, the truth of the matter is, Vint, the fact is, Scar ain't in any stall at the moment.
Why not? What happened?
Well, nothing happened. You know, I wouldn't let anything happen.
Well, then, tell me, where is Scar?
Well, you know Jesse Alden, runs the Weekly Crier. Him and his wife, Zoe. Well, they have a young lady visiting them. Myra Barker, her name is. She's Zoe's niece.
What in thunder has this got to do with my horse?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you, Vint. This Myra Barker come in this morning and took Scar out for a wee bit of a canter.
She what?
Well, now, Vint, it seems that she's from the East. She's from the East, and the poor girl hasn't got a horse of her own. See? And sometimes of a morning, she comes in here and rents one of mine.
Well, did you tell her that it was my horse and it wasn't for rent?
Of course I told her. I said to her, says I says, my very words, I says, that's Vint Bonner's horse and no man rides him. And then she laid her eyes on me. And Vint, I have never seen such a beautiful woman in all me.
I don't care what she looked like. The idea of you letting anyone get on my horse. I've had that horse since it was a colt. I broke him myself. The last stranger that tried to ride him got thrown 20 feet in the air, straight up.
You know, I thought that Scar acted a wee bit skittish when she was getting on him this morning. And I said to myself, I says, oh, Scar just ain't used to being ridden side saddle.
Side saddle? Do you mean to tell me she's riding Scar side saddle?
Now, Vint, I told you she was a real lady. Now, I told you.
Well, she's not going to look like much of a lady lying out in the desert someplace. Loan me one of your horses, we'll go get her.
Hold it, Vint! Here she comes now, coming down the street. Vint, I never knew that Scar enjoyed being rid side saddle.
Neither did I.
And him behaving so gentle-like. And here you had me all worried saying Scar that would let nobody else ride him.
Thank you, Lem. And thank you, Scar. Oh, he's a wonderful animal. The man who owns him must be very proud.
I am.
You took me by surprise.
Oh, Miss Barker, this is Vint Bonner. You remember, he's the one I told you that owns Scar.
Oh, yes, of course. How are you, Mr. Bonner?
Oh, fine. How are you?
I hope you don't mind my borrowing Scar. Mr. Truitt didn't want me to take him, but I just couldn't resist the way he looked at me. It was almost as if he were asking me to take a trot.
Was. It was?
Well, take good care of him, Mr. Bonner. You wouldn't want anything to happen to a wonderful animal like that.
Miss Barker.
Yes, Mr. Bonner.
If you wanted to take him out again sometime, well, what I mean is, I'm going to be in town a few days.
Why, that's very kind of you.
And you just tell Lem here when you need him, and he'll tell you when I don't need him.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, goodbye for now. I hope I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye, Lem.
Here There you are, raising Cain because I let her body scar for a morning. And now you're volunteering to let her ride him any time that she takes a fancy to it. I don't understand it.
You know something? I don't understand it either.
Hi there, Jesse.
Hello, Vin.
Jesse, I was down at the livery stable this morning, and I met,
Mr. Bonner,
Miss Barker.
I was hoping I'd run into you.
You want to borrow Scar again tomorrow? Is that it?
Well, it's about Scar, but I'm afraid I won't be borrowing him anymore.
Well, he won't mind. And I'm sure I won't.
Well, thank you, but... Well, you see, I found out that I was quite wrong in taking him this morning. Uncle just told me that out west, a man's horse is something he doesn't loan out as a rule. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to be so inconsiderate.
Oh, you weren't inconsiderate, Miss Barker. Maybe back east they have different customs, that's all.
Then I'm forgiven?
I'd say you're more than forgiven.
You're very generous, Mr. Bonner. Perhaps you'll have dinner with us some evening.
Oh, I'd like that.
Just so I can prove to Uncle Jeff that I haven't completely disgraced the family name. My Aunt Zoe is a very good cook.
I've heard that about Mrs. Alden.
Any evening at all, I'm sure you'd be most welcome.
Well, since I'm not going to be in town very long, maybe we ought to make it soon, huh?
Maybe we ought at that.
Like tonight.
I think tonight would be just fine, Mr. Bonner. We usually eat around 6:30. Would that be all right with you?
I'll be there, 6:30. And thank you for the invitation.
Oh, you're more than welcome, Mr. Bonner.
Miss Alden, I've heard people brag about your cooking, but they never did you justice.
Oh, Vid. Here, have another piece of shortcake.
No, ma'am. Thank you. 3 helpings is enough.
Well, if you're certain.
I'll have another piece.
Now, Jesse, you've had enough already. Besides, a shortcake ought to do for 2 meals.
Well, you just offered Vinton a...
That's different. He's company.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Jesse.
What's the matter?
Well, come on. Aren't you going to help me with the dishes?
With the dishes? Myra usually helps with the...
Myra has a guest.
Oh, how about me helping you with the dishes tonight, Zoe?
We, put up the porch swing this afternoon, Vint.
Did?
I know it's kind of early for it, but there sure is a feeling of summer in the air.
Nice evening, isn't it?
Nice. Yes, nice evening.
You know, you're not as vague as you'd like people to believe, Mr. Bonner.
I'm not?
No, you aren't. You know perfectly well that Aunt Zoe has been throwing me at you all evening. I knew she would when I invited you here.
You did?
I think I'd better explain. You see, I'm sort of a disappointment to Aunt Zoe. She's been doing everything in her power to marry me off, but so far she hasn't had much luck. Well, the young men she's introduced me to have all been very nice and very pleasant, but... Well, the truth is, I don't want to get married.
You don't?
No, Mr. Bonner, I don't. I haven't the slightest interest in settling down and cooking meals and raising children. Oh, maybe someday, but certainly not now.
You don't want to get married?
No. And from what I hear from Uncle Jess, I understand you don't either.
That's true. That's true.
Well, so I thought that, well, having you to dinner would be a good way to, well, please Aunt Zoe, and as far as we were concerned, we might get to be friends, but there'd be no danger of going beyond that point.
That's right. No danger at all.
But now you mustn't tell Aunt Zoe that the only reason I invited you here is because you're not, well, matrimonially inclined.
I won't say a word.
Good. Well, now that that's all settled, shall we go inside?
Myra?
Yes, Vince.
Well, since there's no danger, it's a pretty night. Couldn't we stay out a little longer?
Whatever you say.
You know, I know exactly how you feel. My friends are trying to get me married off all the time. Well, they mean well. They've got good intentions.
I've been through it for the last 5 years. I thought maybe it would be different when I came out here, but it isn't.
I don't know how long I'm going to be in Willowfork, but a friend of mine's trying to buy a ranch close by here, and if the deal went through, he wants me to be foreman, and now, if I were going to be here for a while, we could make kind of a bargain.
Yes?
Well, you see, since you don't want to get married and I don't want to get married, maybe we could see each other once in a while. It would take the marriage pressure off of both of us.
Well, I suppose so, but...
Yeah, you see, your Aunt Zoe would be happy, and my friends would be happy, and besides, you're very good company, Myra.
Why, thank you, Vince. You're pretty good company yourself.
And you're pretty, too. Then, of course, when there's a church social or something, why, we could go together. And then when there's a hayride, why, we could have some fun together. And well, I'll talk to you about it. Good night, Myra.
Good night, Vince.
Well, I saw a lot of Myra after that. A week or so later, there was a party over at the Petersons' place. Then a dance over at the Oddfellows' Hall, and now this hayride we've just been on.
Yeah, it's had a word since we left the hayride. It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure.
You don't sound like you enjoyed it very much.
Well, I don't much enjoy spending an evening all by myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you were so bored. Well, it's pretty late. I won't ask you in.
Good night.
Vince! Now, what's wrong? You're cross as an old bear.
Well, I don't see why you had to spend the whole evening talking with that Morgan fella.
Morgan?
Yeah, giggling and carrying on. What was so gall-darn funny anyway?
I don't know. Ed Morgan can be very amusing.
Oh, sure, he's funny as a crutch. I took you to the hayride. He didn't. If he wants a girl, let him bring one of his own.
Now, just a minute, Vic
Just
Bonner.
a minute, what?
We have an understanding, remember? The only reason we see each other is because it's convenient. Why, we're not going together or anything remotely resembling that. Why, we're not even interested in each other romantically.
How do you know we're not interested in each other? How do you know I don't want to marry you? I don't know how it happened, Myra. And don't laugh at me. But will you marry me?
Marry you?
I know about our arrangement and all, but I had to ask.
You'd better be careful, Vint. I might say yes.
I wish you would, Myra, more than anything in the world. I wish you would.
But we both said we didn't want to settle down. We weren't interested in love or marriage.
But a man can change his mind. I'm no prize, Myra, and I haven't got much, but I've got a little money. We could buy a ranch, maybe, if you like.
I haven't said I'd marry you, Vint.
I thought maybe you cared.
I'm in love with you, Vint.
Well, Myra.
It wouldn't work, not a marriage between two people like us.
Why wouldn't it work?
We're not children, Vint. We're used to leading our own lives. We've never put down roots, either one of us.
Maybe it's time we did put down some roots.
I've got to think it over. I've got to be certain.
All right. I don't want to rush you. How long do you want me to wait?
Let me sleep on it. Tomorrow I'll tell you then.
I hope it's yes, Myra.
Good night, Vint.
Well, I've put in some long days in my life, but that next one was about the longest I ever spent. Every once in a while, I'd start thinking that it just couldn't be, that I'd actually asked a girl to marry me. And then I'd think of Myra, and I could almost see her in front of my eyes, and all of a sudden it seemed like asking her to be my wife was the most sensible thing I'd ever done. Hello, Myra.
You're early, Vint.
I guess I am a little.
I was afraid maybe you'd be late, or maybe you wouldn't come at all once you'd had a chance to think things over.
Well, I didn't have anything to think about. Well, Myra?
I'll marry you, Vint.
Yes. Yes, Myra.
I couldn't turn you down even if I thought it was best. Even if I knew it was.
This is the best.
Is it, Vint? Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
Are you sure that the day won't come when you're sorry you're tied down? When you're sorry you can't go off on a cattle drive to Kansas or head over to a mining camp in Nevada or just be by yourself when you want to?
Dear, I've had my share of mining camps and cattle drives. And I don't want to be alone anymore. Besides, settling down is just as hard on you as it is on me.
Oh, no, it won't be as hard. A woman has roots even if she doesn't realize that they're there all the time just waiting to take hold. No, Vin, it's much harder for a man.
It'll work out, don't you worry about it.
Vin, I've never mentioned it. I don't even want to think about it, but you killed a man the week we met, remember?
There was a reason.
Oh, darling, I'm sure there's always a reason. Or a friend who needs you. You and your gun.
And the friend will just have to do without.
A man like Sheriff Jennings at Eagle Falls. That kind of friend.
Why do you mention Sam Jennings' name? You don't even know him.
A man came into my uncle's office this morning while I was there. He said there'd been some trouble there over a month ago now.
A month ago?
The sheriff was wounded. The man who did the shooting had a grudge against you. He was looking for you, and that's why he went to Eagle Falls. Prescott, I think that was the name mentioned.
Bide Prescott?
Yes. Does he have a grudge against you, Vint?
He could have.
You'd like to go, wouldn't you? Because of what he did to your friend and what he might do to others.
Myra, I never liked to go after any man.
But this time you think you should, don't you?
Oh, Prescott isn't here, and Eagle Falls is over 100
You haven't
miles...
answered my question, Vint. Do you think you ought to go after him?
If what you say is true, and Sam Jennings got hurt on my account, and there's no one else...
Go ahead, Van. Go on to Eagle Falls.
You want me to go? You don't mind?
No, I want you to go.
Well, good, Myra. It won't take long. I'll be back.
No.
What?
Don't come back. Please don't ever come back. Because someday it will be you lying dead in the street.
What are you talking
There
about?
will always be a bypass of Sheriff Jennings. Oh, you turned them down. You'd shut your ears, but you'd still hear it. And inside you'd feel that it was me holding you. And it would be me.
But, Myra, listen.
Please, Vin, don't come back. Don't ever come back.
Myra.
Hold up a minute, will you?
Howdy, Jesse.
Ben, could you step into the office a minute? I wanted to talk to you. It won't take very long.
All right. What do you want to talk about, Jesse?
Ben, what about you and Myra?
Well, what about it? She's a nice girl, fine girl. Look, if that's all you wanted to talk about.
Now, wait. Now, sit down a minute. Now, you're leaving here because Sheriff Jennings of Eagle Falls sent for you. Now, that's the reason, isn't it?
How did you know that?
Oh, Brent, I don't want you to think that we meant to eavesdrop on you last night when you were talking to Myra. My wife happened to leave the parlor window open. Anyway, it isn't true what Myra told you.
What isn't true?
Well, almost all of it. That part about Sheriff Jennings sending for you. The fellow from Eagle Falls didn't even mention your name. And as for Sam Jennings, he's all right. He doesn't need help from anybody.
Are you sure?
I'm sure, Vint.
Why did she do that? Why?
Well, I think I know why. I think she was maybe trying to test you. Women will do that, you know.
She couldn't have cared very much. Not to play a trick like that.
Oh, no? Well, then why did she spend all night crying her eyes out? And why was Zoe with her up until all hours, commiserating?
Thanks, Jesse.
Well, Vint, you're not leaving Willowport?
No, I'm leaving.
But if you love her and she loves you...
Jesse. It's enough that she cried over me for one night. You know, I remember when I was a little kid. My father was a lot like me. Always traveling, looking for a new job, a new frontier. He loved my mother. Loved her a lot. She loved him too. But she spent lots of nights crying her heart out. And I remember. I wouldn't want that to happen to Myra.
But then, some of these days, maybe you'll change.
Maybe. Maybe I will, Jesse. I've heard it said that all men kill that which they love, and their chance of getting it. What do you think about that? Clint Langley married Ann Frawley, there wasn't a happier man in the world than her father, Carson Frawley. But as time went on, something about Ann's letters began to bother him. I'd been working as roundup boss on his Wyoming Vodka 3 spread for a while, so the old man asked me to head south. See what was wrong. Nice friendly town you got here.
Unless you're playing dice or visiting with the Almighty. Better get off your knees, cowboy. Don't think it weren't on purpose. I can bring him close enough to raise a blister. Where are you from?
You Ramrod from Major Langley?
Answer my question, cowboy.
I came out of the Verde 2 days ago.
You ride a double-fire saddle on one of them bitty grazing bits. That's North Country rigging. Wyoming, maybe?
Or Colorado, Texas, Arizona.
A lot of Wyoming boys come down here with a wide loop. We lose a lot of cattle that way.
Maybe you ought to read this letter.
Never learn how to.
I'll read it for you.
You don't need to. You're Vint Bonner. Major thinks you got a good gun. See that one over there? That's Cole David. It's his summer name. I told you his real name, you'd stand real straight. Cole was Ramrod before me. But I got a gun takes up where his leaves off.
You chew over every visitor that comes to town?
If that visitor happens to be thinking of swapping jobs with me, then I likes to break him down some, look inside him.
What did you see?
Not much.
Maybe you ought to take a second look.
I got a good gun, Bonner. Save maybe for two, the Major's and another. Ain't none can match it, none. You keep that to mind, you're going to live a long life. You don't, you're going to get dirt in your ears. Your health. Let's ride, cowboy.
Wills?
This here's Bonner.
Major?
Howdy. Well, Bonner, of course, you know you're on the Cimarron. She's the biggest ranch there is. Wild and untamed, and only two things hold her together. Guts and gun smoke. You think you can take orders?
From the right man? Yes, sir.
Now, let's see how good your reputation is. Well, that's not bad for first time, almost as fast as Will's here. And him with all his practicing. Now, there's one thing you have to remember. Don't go near any bushes where a muzzle of buckshot can be poked through. Like Cherokee Daniels, eh, Wills?
That ain't no way to talk, Major. Ain't a gun can match mine.
It ain't?
Save maybe yours.
That all?
Maybe Rocky Jake Thomas down to Fort Griffin.
Bonnie, you just come from that country. You can deal Thomas out.
Did he gun down Rocky Jake?
Fair fight. Drilled him with lead belly to brisket. I want to put you two cow nurses in the same saddle. You just been to Siam, Wilkes. Got yourself a twin.
Can't be but one ramrod.
Yeah. Guess you're right. Yep. This gun rules this ranch. And I rule this gun. Now get on down to Chow House, tell Wang Ling to rustle up some grub. You know, a man remembers better what he sees than what he hears. I'll get a fresh horse and show you around. Come on. Well, how do you like what you seen?
Well, up in Wyoming, they say you're a pretty good cattleman. For a brush popper, that is.
Wyoming? Them boys up there can't make enough to keep a chicken in scratch less than they got a front lawn 40 miles wide to pasture cows on. But we got an operation here, raising our own kind of cattle. Short on horn, long on meat, bringing the railroads to us. And not driving ribs and hide 1,000 miles to it. We blast our own wells, raise our own feed.
Major.
Now, I have a proper man's regard for the Almighty, Bonner. But he helps them who helps themselves.
Major, you said a man that looked like me was gunning for my hide. Why?
I had over 100,000 head of cattle 2 years ago on this ranch. Now this year, I guess I had less than 90,000. Now them 10,000 just didn't take a notion to wander, did they?
Rustling's big up in the Indian Nation.
Oh, it ain't an Indian or a common Chad come near this spread. 'Cause I got all the top guns of the frontier punching these cows. Yeah, and I got a big-time maverick. Right here on this ranch.
You mean Wills?
That's right. Only he ain't paired.
Paired?
Every man on this spread is paired with a man just as fast as he is with a gun.
Why?
Oh, just so some puncher won't start his own spread up some little box canyon, say?
Well, what's to prevent two of them from getting together? Ganging up on you.
$5,000 reward, double pay, just for the information. And that information don't have to be alive.
And you want to pair me with Wills? You don't even know me.
Well, you got a big name in Wyoming, and the fact that a good bluff in a poker game is the same as good cards.
And I don't know Brocky Jake Thomas.
Most don't know that. Old man Carson Frawley sent you to sniff about his daughter, didn't he?
That's right. He's worried about her.
Well, you can tell him his little girl is all snug and warm. We're getting civilized around here. I don't even brush my teeth with a twig and ashes no more. I use a toothbrush.
You're a big man in these parts, Major. But the rattlesnake doesn't know that. Drop the gun or I'll put a hole through you front and back.
Well, if it ain't John C. Fremont, the old Pathfinder. You been out picking flowers, Mr. Fremont? Or you a snuffy little Injun what can track bees in a blizzard?
Only a fool would smoke in these mountains. There's a wind. It carries the smell.
You know a lot of things, don't you? Folks hereabouts know how smart you are? Or just Brocky Jake Thomas?
I never knew Brocky Jake Thomas.
Oh, I know that, Barnum. I've been in your hip pocket all the time. I heard me everything you and the Major talked about. Everything. Why don't you put that thing to bed, huh? A little nervous, ain't you?
Just careful.
You know, the reason I know about Brocky Jake is because he works for me now. I'm going to own that ranch someday. Because I made myself a little discovery. And I know what to do about it. You can give that back to the Major's missus. I don't need it no more.
Langley?
Yes. You would be Mr. Bonner.
That's right.
You worked for my father.
Yes, ma'am. I was his roundup boss.
Well, then you had to be good. How is he?
He's fine, most of the time.
Why did he send you down?
He's getting old, Mrs. Langley. I expect he's concerned about your happiness.
My husband has given me the largest ranch in the world. My every wish is fulfilled. Shouldn't that make me a happy woman, Mr. Bonner?
I got a different idea. This ranch is more like a bronc you're ready to mount, trembling, ready to explode.
What are you talking about?
For one thing, Jack Wills.
A man like my husband who wants to control an empire in the midst of lawlessness must resort to odd procedure.
Sometimes empires fall due to odd procedure.
Whatever else Jack Wills is, he's always been loyal to my husband.
Mrs. Langley, Wills is on his way right now to Fort Griffin to bring back a pal and declare himself new emperor.
A pal?
A man named Brocky Jake Thomas, a gunman. Wills asked me to give you this.
He must have waited until I was away. I haven't written in it since. What happened today, Mr. Bonner, between you and the Major?
I shot and killed a rattlesnake close to him.
I knew it wouldn't last. I knew somehow something would do it.
July 21st, Clint had another seizure this morning. He and the men found some rustlers up by Hayes Fork. In the fighting, one of the men was shot dead next to Clint. He managed to return to the ranch house. No one must know he is helpless. September 4th. The seizure of the last 2 days is over. I have hopes. January 10th. Clint shot a steer to help turn a stampede. It had no effect on him. I feel he is cured. What does that mean, Mrs. Langley? What are these seizures? What do they do to him?
Clint Langley was married before. A long time ago. His wife died at childbirth, but she left him a son, Toby. When the war began, Clint joined the Texas Volunteers and Toby went north. He was blowing a bridge. Well, a gun muzzle was pressed into his back. At that moment, the bridge blew and the concussion knocked both men down. Well, Clint managed to gain his senses quicker. He killed the man. But he bent down to change uniforms. The man he saw was Toby. How can it happen that when one man meets and kills another man, it's his own son?
It's that kind of a war. Brother against brother. Families split down the middle.
was that kind of war. And I had to write it all down in my diary.
You couldn't know this would happen. You couldn't know he'd find the diary.
What will he do?
I don't think Wills is sure yet. That's why he sent for Brocky Jake Thomas, for insurance. If the Major won't fight, he simply scoops up the ranch. If he does fight, he sticks Brocky Jake onto him. Wills is pretty sure he can take care of me.
But we have plenty of men to outnumber them.
They know the score, Mrs. Langley. They're not going to do a thing until they find out who's got the right bullets.
But he can't fight. He won't have a chance.
He'll have to fight, Mrs. Langley. Otherwise, he's dead. Oh, he'll walk around, breathing, maybe. But other men will walk over him just as if he were earth.
Can't you do something, Mr. Bonner?
It's going to take 2 men. And the only 2 men around are the Major and me. You've got to take me to him.
Clint, it's Anne. Can I come in?
Door's unlocked, Ann.
Clint, I brought Mr. Bonner.
Ann, I told you.
All right, Clint. Mr. Bonner knows.
Worse than that, Wills knows. How about your weakness? You got a hold of your wife's diary. And he followed us today, heard and saw everything that happened. When I shot that snake, he put 2 and 2 together. He's got a partner, Brocky Jake Thomas. What are you going to do?
I just can't do nothing. I can't do nothing. I'm not well. I'm a sick man.
Major, there's only one way. That's you and me and a pair of guns.
No, I just can't do it.
You gonna let Wills take over the whole thing? This whole place you've worked years for, you, Mr. Texas, bowed to by every man who ever burned a brand, sitting looking through his fingers like a little girl with a horned toad on her knee. I don't think you understand, Major. I'll help, but I can't do it alone.
All this could have been his. Everything here could have been my boy's.
But that's past, Major. Years past.
But what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? He hated me. He hunted me like a killer. What kind of a father was I?
A busy father, Clint. A busy father in a violent time. A time that shut out the closeness of a son. You weren't the first and you won't be the last.
Major, this is Ben Gibbons from over the 3 Pass section. I got a message for you. You Bonner?
What do you want?
Wilson Thomas just come through 3 Pass. They aim to tack lead onto anything gets in their way.
Now you listen to me. Get out of here. I got plenty of bullets that'll fit your carcass.
How did they get here so fast?
I don't know. Thomas is probably on the ranch all the time, just waiting for Wills to call him.
He's worse than ever.
Violence can overcome a man till he learns that death is only a neighbor that comes to borrow a cup of life. Something for a little while.
And how does one greet this neighbor?
I remember a man in the war once. Lost his nerve during an attack. Knelt on the ground, trembling like a rabbit. Then he got shot. The sight of his own blood shocked him on his feet.
And I need a bandage. And get me my gun.
Likely they're gone.
I can't vision that.
He's not a man anymore. Got a sickness, I tell you.
You got a woman?
Right handsome, too.
Come on. Shotgun.
That's right.
Blow you to pieces.
You home, Langley? You got visitors standing here? New owners might say.
Like a poker game, Major. Watch their eyes.
Well, look at them now, Brocky Jake. Two puffed up coyotes stepping like wolves. You ain't shooting rocks now, Major. Most like poker, I'd say. Only bluffs don't work. And the jackpot's blood. Your blood, Major.
You aim to run this ranch on wind?
I got a saying for your gravestone, cowboy. Forever rest in pieces.
Isn't it something when a man can hold his head up again?
Gonna be an early winter.
This thing's more of a comical situation than a serious one, Vint.
You're not talking about a real cannon, are you?
Seems there's a fool Dutchman up there, calls himself Wilhelm Augustus von Ritter. He set up a toll gate back of Saddleback Pass, and he's got a real cannon.
What you need is a troop of cavalry or some artillery. You don't need me.
It's only one man and one cannon. All I want you to do is go in there and serve a notice to cease and desist.
Well, I was going by San Marcos.
Oh, good. Fine. Now, here's your badge. Here's the order. And here is a copy of the Constitution and Bill of Rights. I hear this fellow studied up on the law.
Now, just a minute, Gavin. I'm no lawyer.
Neither is he. Raise your right hand.
Good morning, Kurt.
Oh, good morning, Miss Heidi.
I just finished churning some nice fresh buttermilk.
Thank you, Miss Heidi. Ah, that's good. Good.
Oh, you better put on your uniform. Here comes a customer.
Toll to cross is 25 cents, sir.
The toll to cross what?
The domain of Baron Wilhelm Augustus von Ritter, sir.
Domain?
I told him nobody would know what domain means, but that's what they calls his land.
Is that cannon loaded?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You a soldier in the Baron's army?
Yes, sir.
How many men you got in the army?
Well, only 2 at present, sir. Just me and the Baron. But we don't need a big army with that cannon.
If I jumped over that post, you'd shoot me with the cannon.
Oh, no, sir. The Baron is the only one who's allowed to shoot the cannon.
I wonder if you'd tell the Baron Deputy U.S. Marshal Bonner would like to talk to him.
United States Marshal?
That's right.
Oh, that's different.
Enter!
Sir, Deputy United States Marshal Bonner wants to talk. I mean, craves an audience with your grace.
Granted. Return to your post. Come in, Marshal. Sit down.
Thank you.
Order! Beer! I am a man of few words, Marshal. And so I ask, what you want?
I want you to get rid of that cannon and the toll gate.
By whose order?
By the orders of the United States Marshal.
United States Marshal, Papa. I knew it. I knew that cannon would be in trouble yet.
Silence! Women know nothing of the law, Marshal, but I do. I am 100% American citizen. I never break the law.
Well, what about the cannon?
Article 2 of the Bill of Rights. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It says...
Yeah, but that means to bear arms, to be able to lift, to carry. You can't carry that cannon.
Ha! Now, first things first. The right to bear arms. Did I or didn't I bear it?
Well, I guess you bore it.
And another thing, Mr. Deputy Marshal. If you are a Deputy Marshal, the 4th Amendment states, and I quote, the right of the people to be secure in their persons. I am a person. Houses. That is my house. Papers and effects. My cannon is an effect.
I would say your cannon is more of a cause than an effect.
Against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. It says...
Well, this warrant was issued on probable cause, supported by affirmation, and it describes the place to be searched and the thing to be seized.
Meaning my cannon?
Meaning your cannon.
Court! Raise your hands, mister. This way.
Stay. Stay. In you go, mister. Oh, Dunk! Back to your post. March! Yes, sir. Now then, you have the honor of being the first to occupy my jail, Mr. Deputy Marshal. If you are a Deputy Marshal.
You saw the badge.
Maybe you found it. Maybe you stole it. But here you stay till I write to Austin to find out. Now what you got to say, huh?
I think you're out of your mind.
Eh?
I think you're loco. Nuts.
So, we find out who is loco. My fine young smart aleck. We find out who is nuts. Find out. We find out who's loco and is not loco. We find out.
This is the end of all the years of hard work here in this wonderful country. This is the end of everything.
Maybe they will send Papa to prison for locking up the marshal.
Heidi, your own papa you would wish in prison?
Only long enough so Kurt and I could get married yet. And you could live with us until he got out.
How sharper than a serpent's tooth is a thankless child. So, you wish your own father in prison so you can marry that good-for-nothing commoner. You, the daughter of a baron.
But, Papa, we were engaged already before Cousin Rudolph died.
Rudolph was only second cousin.
Second schmecken, the title passed to me. You should be proud.
I would rather be happy. And I was real proud of you. When you were just plain Bill Ritter, the best blacksmith in the country.
You think it's fun to be baron. Wear this collar, this tight coat. You think the obligations of royalty is easy yet?
This is America. There's no law says you got to be a baron.
The law of succession says I got to be a baron. Passed down for 600 years. The barony of Wolfgang von Brandenburg Ritterhaus von Schnell. I have spoken. Take the prisoner his food. Not you, Heidi. You, Anna.
So you see, Marshal, it wasn't something I wanted to do. I'm a soldier, and a soldier's got to obey orders.
You were obstructing justice. You threw down on me with that gun of yours. That could be a very serious offense.
It wasn't loaded. Look. I don't keep a cartridge in it, ever.
Some army.
Oh, here comes Mrs. Ritter. I got to get back to my post.
Good day, Mr. Marshal. I brought you some lunch.
That's very kind of you, Mrs. Ritter.
The ham is cured the same as Westphalia. I hope you like it.
Looks nice.
The pole beans we raised right here. No strings hardly.
They're delicious.
And the cage is clean. I cleaned it out myself with creosote. Besides, Charlie's been dead 3 years.
Charlie?
Yeah, our pet bear that used to live in there. Wilhelm used to wrestle with him. He squeezed him so hard he died of colic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How long you think? 6 months, maybe?
He's gonna keep me locked in here 6 months?
Ach, lieber Himmel, no. No. I mean, how long will Papa be in prison for locking you up in Charlie's cage?
Oh, well, I don't know. Locking up a federal marshal's a pretty serious offense.
Even with very good food? Tonight I make strudel with custard sauce.
Why don't you talk to that husband of yours?
Then he was a plain blacksmith, Mr. Marshall. He would listen to me. But now, since he got to be a baron, he listens to nobody. Nobody.
I see.
It's like the responsibility of being royalty all of a sudden has gone to his head.
How long has he been a baron?
For nearly 2 months now. And since he put up the toll gate and got the cannon, none of our friends speak to us. Nobody.
Well, it must be pretty hard on you and your daughter.
Well, maybe when he's asleep tonight, I can get the key. Maybe if...
If what?
Well, if you would promise not to hurt him. You see, I still love Papa, even if he is a baron.
Well, your husband's a very big man, and I don't like to make promises I couldn't keep.
Wilhelm is the strongest man in the county. There's nothing that would stop him but to shoot him with a bullet, with a gun. But I can't do anything that would cause Papa to be shot.
Yeah, well, I know how you feel, Mrs. Ritter, but I'm afraid I couldn't...
You can't promise.
Yes, ma'am, that's it.
Well, I'll try to think of something, Mr. Marshall.
Yes, ma'am, you do that. I'll be right here in Charlie's place.
So sit down already. It's getting cold.
All right, Papa, all right.
You're putting enough food for 2 men. What are you trying to do?
So at least he can't say we are stingy.
Huh?
If I might say so, sir, I think you are making a mistake.
Did somebody ask you?
Well, I think he is a real marshal. A deputy, that is.
And I think you are guilty of insubordination. Maybe you would like to join him in the barricade, huh?
Papa!
And you too. Maybe I'll lock up the whole shebang until I get some proper respect around here.
You are spilling tobacco on the tablecloth, Wilhelm.
And what if I am?
You can be the baron everywhere but in my kitchen. Here, I'm the boss. You behave here or gives no more cooking.
No, Anna.
I think she's right.
What the?
All right, sit back down.
But how?
Please, Marshal, Papa, be still.
He's out.
And you keep quiet, Kurt Braunfeld.
Kurt, do something. That's an order.
But I ain't even thinking of doing something.
You are fired. Dishonorable discharged.
Well, then I quit.
Will you be taking Papa to prison tonight, Mr. Marshal?
Well, not until I've had some supper. On your feet, Baron.
But how could you get out?
Over there. Through the door.
But how could you get out?
Move!
This is a violation of my civil rights.
Hold that.
I know the law. You'll wait and see. Section 9, paragraph 2. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended.
Unless when in cases of invasion or rebellion, the public safety may require it.
Who's invading?
You're a nobleman of a foreign power, aren't you? You set up an army without consent of Congress, didn't you? And you held up travelers at the point of a cannon. Well, didn't you?
No person shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. That is the 5th Amendment, you ignoramus. I refuse to answer.
You will have your day in court. Come on.
You can't do this to me. Wait and see. I know the law, by golly. What are you doing here, Dumkov?
The missus sent breakfast. Give scrapple and strawberry jam.
I discharged you dishonorable. Get out!
Mrs. Ritter, she hired me.
For what?
To milk the cows and to pull the Johnson grass out of the corn and to clean up the kitchen garden.
So, you like better to be farmer than soldier, huh?
Yes, I do. Better, much better. And I like you too better as a blacksmith.
Traitor! Coward! Farmer! Achtung! March! Mach schnell!
Well, Baron, your troubles are over.
So, you found it in the Constitution like I said you would, huh?
You can keep your title, your toll gate, and your cannon.
I knew it. All that time I knew it. Unlock this door.
And you can take your title, your toll gate, and your cannon, and you can go back to Germany and stay there.
But I don't like it in Germany. I like it here.
According to the Constitution, you forfeited your United States citizenship.
That's a lie. Show me, show me.
Right here. Article 1, Section 9, Paragraph 8. Read it.
No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any
office or profit.
I can read. Holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, accept any present
emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from a king, prince, or foreign state.
That means me.
That means you.
But I want to be an American.
You don't act like that. You act like you want to be a baron.
I didn't be a baron on purpose, Dumkov.
Watch your language, fat boy.
If somebody dies and makes you a baron, what can you do?
That's what I'm telling you. You can't be made a baron or a prince or anything like that. The law protects you from it.
Why didn't somebody tell me this?
I'm telling you now.
Unlock open the door. I am 100% American.
What about the cannon and the toll gate?
The toll gate will make a good wagon tongue. And the cannon, from it I could make lightning rods and hoops for the beer kegs.
Well, that sounds reasonable. How about Kurt and Heidi?
My Heidi and that farmer? What about them?
Well, they'd like to get married.
Is this the business of the United States government?
No, but they asked me to talk to you to reason with you.
You unlock this door and put off that gun. I reason with you pretty quick.
Your wife's in favor of the marriage, too.
When I get out, I take a stick to her, too.
I was under the impression that Ritter meant something honorable like knight.
I am descended from the knights of the Holy German Empire. They fought in even the Crusades.
Well, looks like you descended quite a long way to treat your little girl like that and to take a stick to your wife. You sound more like a coward to me.
I am a coward. You are a coward! I invited you to fight man to man without no guns, but you are afraid. No, you hide behind that tin star and pistol. You are afraid to fight fair, huh?
Do you think you know how to fight fair?
I do. With just my fists.
And if I were to win, would you let them get married?
You beat me, little man. And I make you best man at vetting.
All right, we'll fight prize ring rules out in the corral.
Good. I call Heidi, Anna, and Kurt. I want they should see this.
No, this is just between you and me.
Oh, you don't want witnesses, huh?
I think it might be of interest to both of us.
The marshal must have taken leave of his senses already.
Papa's the strongest man in the county, doesn't he know?
Well, he must know. He's seen him lift the cannon.
You better split plenty hay, you little man.
You are sure it's just with fists they are fighting?
Sure, I heard every word. And the marshal will be best man at their wedding if he wins.
And when one can get up, the fight is over, right?
That's right, and no stamping while the other man's down.
No kicking? Okay. And no gouging with the eyes?
No gouging with the eyes and no biting.
Just with the fists?
Just with the fists. Prize ring rules.
Prize ring rules. Kicking.
No kicking when you're down.
Not always in the nose. That makes me very mad. You had enough, Marshal?
Yeah, guess I have.
You're a pretty good man yourself, Marshal.
Much obliged.
Come on, we got hot water and Annika in the kitchen. Come.
Marshal, before you go, there's one thing you should know. You almost had me licked.
No.
Yeah, my wind was gone.
Oh, what's this?
Just a little lunch, so you won't be hungry. It's a long journey to St. Marcos.
Well, that's very nice of you, but...
Ah, take it. We got plenty.
Well, thank you. That's very considerate.
Maybe you come to the wedding.
The wedding?
Papa said yes.
Yeah.
Well, good for you, Papa. Maybe I will at that. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'd been riding fence since sunup, and it was a hot day. Hotter than usual. For the last 3 hours, I'd been thinking about just how a cold beer would taste. Hi, Pid.
Hi.
Give me a beer, will you?
Hot enough for you?
Yeah, plenty.
Well, what do you know?
Not much.
There you are.
Thanks.
Say, what's his name? Vin Bonner. Where in the world did you pick up a name like Vin Bonner?
Look, mister, I've had a long, hard day, and I'm tired. Now, why don't you just move along?
All right. That's the way you want it. That Vin Bonner fella, has he been around here long?
Well, several years, on and off.
Well known?
Everybody knows Vin Bonner.
Why? Oh, no reason.
Ain't seen you in a long time. What do you want?
Yes, it has been a long time.
Oh, you're a dead ringer, Gene. Without that mustache, you're a dead ringer.
What are you talking about?
A fellow up in Hondo, name of Bonner. Vint Bonner.
Never heard of him. Did you come through Laredo on your way?
Oh, yes, I did. Now, this Bonner...
Did you hear anything about the El Paso stage robbery?
Well, nobody has the slightest idea who did that. They said there were only a few $100s in the strongbox.
$225. 3 passengers. Woman was kind of pretty.
I could never kill a woman.
Woman can identify you as quick as a man.
When you hear what I have in mind...
Of course, that was when the whole thing started. I didn't give it much thought at the time. Or even when he came back to town about 3 weeks later with the sick man.
Looks like something real drastic happened to that fellow. Hope it wasn't smallpox.
A couple of wing feathers from that bottle of ancient owl, my friend. And a couple of short beer chasers. There. There you have an example of man's triumph over disaster, gentlemen. Although grievously burned when a kerosene lamp exploded, it's not necessary for him to suffer the pangs and punishment of a burning thirst. Of course. My friend and patient would like to buy drinks for the house, gentlemen.
Sheriff, Vint, what'll it be?
Small beer.
I'll have the same.
Thank you. To your very good health and early recovery, sir.
Permit me to introduce my patient, Mr. Eugene Baroda of Marfa. I'm Dr. Nicholas Dawson, same city. We're on our way north to a hospital in San Francisco where Mr. Baroda will undergo treatment for burns. We've elected to stay in your fair city for a few days while my patient recovers his strength.
Windy fella, ain't he?
I'm Miles Seacamp. I run the King Hotel right next door.
Well met, Mr. Seacamp. Perhaps you can arrange suitable accommodations for us.
Sure can. Right this way.
Sounds a little loco to me.
Yeah, it takes all kinds.
Now, you just sign right here. Let's see. Here. There you are. Room number 8, end of the hall, right on the corner.
Do you have a back stairway? My patient is a bit nervous about fire, naturally.
Oh, naturally. Got to have a back stairway, else he couldn't go out the back, huh?
Now, I'll get our luggage. You go on upstairs, rest yourself. Dr. Dawson. Well, was I right or was I right, huh?
Like looking in a mirror.
It's like taking candy from a baby. Taking candy from a little girl baby. One that's fast asleep at that. You just shave that mustache off your upper lip. It's not very becoming anyway, you know. Oh, that is incredible. Are you sure he's not some kind of a relative of yours?
I haven't got any relatives. That saddle tramp's just some kind of a freak.
No. No, he doesn't walk quite like that, and he holds his mouth differently.
Don't try to tell me what to do.
I just want you to talk like him and look like him and act like him.
Nobody's gonna notice much when they look in the end of this.
Gene, you're not up in the mountains now. Muzzle of that thing looks like
Open grave.
Now, if you'll just sign that paper and forget about it till you sell your stock.
That makes $325 total, Vint. You saving up to get married or something?
Not me.
Just try it sometime. It's not half bad.
Guess you're right. How is Millie?
Fine.
The kids?
Growing like Johnson grass and eating like timberwolves. Baby's got 3 new teeth already.
No fooling.
No fooling. Word of honor. All in front.
Give Millie my regards. So long, Mr. Newcomb.
So long, Vint. Say hello to Charlie McCadden.
I'll do that when I see him. It was the following day, and I was way up on the North Fork of Cottonwood Creek, as happy and contented as if I'd had good sense, and without the slightest inkling of what was taking place that very moment in town.
Hi, Vint.
Hi, Vint.
Hi.
That's funny. Vint must have had something on his mind.
Vint?
Hello, Vint. Taking the day off?
Fill this up. No silver, just greenbacks.
This is your idea of a joke, Vint. It's in bad taste. Very bad taste.
This is no joke.
Have you been on your mind?
Fill this up like I said. Greenbacks. Get the rest.
Vin Bonner just held up the bank and killed Arch Tatum. Bonner? Don't stand there wasting time. Go get the sheriff. Hurry before he gets away. Let's meet through here.
You better go home and lay down. Your face is gray as ashes.
I'll be all right.
Sheriff's over at Standish's. I sent Ralph Kearney after him on a fast horse. He ought to be here in an hour, I figure. Anybody sent for Doc Sorensen? I stopped by his house. Mrs. Sorensen said he went over to Boss Forks on a call and won't be home before dark.
There's no need for a doctor now.
Are you sure that's all? Livery stable, too? That's right, Doctor, and thank you. We're sorry you folks couldn't have stayed around a while longer. Things are usually quiet and peaceful around here.
I suppose it's none of my business, but what'll they do to him if they catch him? That, what's his name, who shot the cashier?
Arch Tatum left a widow and 3 little youngsters, Doctor.
Oh, that's terrible. Well, I guess you've answered my question. It's terrible. It's just terrible, that's what it is.
We've got to do something about it.
Now listen to me. Of course I'm going to form a posse.
When?
All of you just quiet down long enough for me to find out something.
All right, Roy, what do you want to find out?
Well, first, any of you see Vint Bonner come into town today? Or out again?
We didn't see him come in or out, but we saw him go into the bank.
And we sure saw him come out of it.
And gun down Arch Tatum.
Yeah.
Bert, you see anything strange or unusual about Vint when he came in the bank today?
Not until he pulled his gun.
No, I mean in his appearance, the way he looked.
No, he looked the same as he always looked. Except he wasn't smiling, and his eyes were kind of...
Kind of what?
Well, kind of wild and strange.
You mean like he'd been drinking or something?
No, nothing like that. There was just a different expression in them.
Then you're not sure it was Vint Bonner?
Yeah, I wish I wasn't sure, Roy. I like him as much as you do. There's no doubt about it. It was Vint, all right.
Of course it was Vint. I passed him on the sidewalk as close as I am to you. I spoke to him.
Did he answer you?
Of course he answered me. I said, hi, Vint, and he said hi, just before he went in the bank. Isn't that right, Luke?
Yeah, and seeing is believing, and we saw. It's hard to believe that about Vint Bonner. All right, Luke. You pick 7 men and head south. I'll take the rest of you and head north. Now, we'll all spread out. The first one that spots him will report back to me.
Why?
Because I'm going to make the arrest, personally.
How come the first one sees him can't make the arrest?
Because Vint Bonner can outshoot and outdraw any of you. That's how come.
And you figure he can't outdraw you?
Oh, yes. He can outdraw me. But I don't figure he'll draw on me. I'm his friend.
So was I. So was Arch Tatum.
Well, I'm going to take my chances. Anyway, that's the way it's going to be.
All right. You're the sheriff, at least until next election.
Yeah, at least until then. Let's go.
I found him, Sheriff. I found him.
Where is he?
Why, up Cottonwood Creek, about a mile.
Did he see you?
No, sir. I took good care he didn't, too.
What's he doing?
Why, he's patching a line fence just as natural as though nothing happened.
You go round up the posse, Pid.
Sure you don't want me to back you up?
No, you do as I say. Go round up the boys.
Okay, if you say so.
Well, hi there, Sheriff. What are you doing away from the Oasis?
Oh, just thought I'd take a little ride, see what I could see.
Well, there's nothing up here but the scenery and me, of course.
How are you feeling?
Fine. Why?
You call that wire tight?
Well, sure, it's as tight as a fiddle. Well, you're getting kind of tricky in your old age, aren't you?
Take it easy, Vint. I don't want any trouble.
All right, Sheriff, I'll go quietly, but tell me something. Why are you practicing on me?
Not practicing. I've got to take you in.
What are you talking about?
They say you robbed the bank today. And killed Arch Tatum.
Art? Who says?
Art Newcomb. Sea Camp. Weber. About 1:15.
Well, I don't care what they say. I've been right here all day.
All alone?
Of course.
Well, I don't know what to think. But this is for sure. I'm going to see that you get the best doctor and lawyer in the country.
Doctor? What's the matter with you, Roy? You think I'm loco or something?
What else could it be, Vint? I know you wouldn't do a thing like this if you were right.
Now, look, I've had just
Please,
about...
don't make this thing any harder for me than it already is. I'm your friend. I don't care what happened. Go get your horse. You didn't do it. It was your twin brother.
Since I haven't got a twin brother, it's got to be someone else. Someone who looks like... Say, Roy.
Yeah.
You know that fella Dawson, the one who calls himself a doctor? Has that patient with a bandaged face.
What about him?
Well, I saw him over at the saloon about 3 weeks ago. He thought he knew me. It could have been someone else. Why don't we take a look at that man with a bandaged face?
About your size and build. You could be right. He could be a ringer.
That's right. Get him.
He left town right after the shooting, heading north.
Well, then you better head south toward the border.
I can't leave here now, Vince. I can't leave you alone in this jail.
Well, I'm not going to break out.
No, but somebody might break in.
What do you mean?
Feeling's been running high, Vint. Arch Tatum's well thought of. You know, men don't make good sense when they get real mad.
You mean they might come for me?
That's right. They're out in the street now in small groups, talking quiet.
Roy, that's ridiculous. I've known these people a long time. They're friends of mine.
A murderer doesn't have any friends, Vint. And they saw you do it.
What are you going to do?
I'm not going to let them get you. I'm going to let you leave before they get here.
They could take this out on you, Roy.
No, they won't. You're going to knock me out and lock me up.
I don't know what to say, Roy. It's good to have someone believe in you.
Hit me.
Roy, I don't want to hit you.
Hit me!
You better keep that bandage on, Gene. You gotta wear it until your mustache grows out again.
I don't gotta wear it to sleep. It itches.
doesn't itch as much as a rope will if they catch up with you.
I know, that's the beauty of this. They're off chasing this Bonner fellow.
By now, they've probably caught and lynched him.
Pretty soon we'll be in Mexico with all those beautiful greenbacks to spend.
You know, this would be as good a time as any to divide it.
Why?
Well, in case something happened and we got separated or something.
That's just why we ain't gonna divide it.
What do you mean?
You know what would happen if someone was to catch up with us and the shooting started?
Why, I'd stay with you, help you fight them off.
In a pig's eye, you would. You'd run like a suck-egg dog.
Well, Gene, how can you say a thing like that?
Because that's what would happen.
That's gratitude for you.
You just be grateful. I could have took it all. I took all the chances.
Yeah. I guess you did at that. I'm not worried. I know you'll do right by me. Good night, Gene.
Spookier than I'd ever known him to be. I couldn't blame him. I felt the same way, but he was getting hard to handle.
people satisfied now?
Nice town with quiet, nice people, but 3 months is a long time to stay in one place. I had made a friend, though, Sheriff Ed Fishman. One says goodbye to friends.
Howdy, Vent.
Hi, Sheriff.
Not pulling out already.
You the sheriff here?
I reckon so.
I'm Captain Clayton, U.S. Cavalry. These 2 men are my aides.
You people are kind of a long way from home base, aren't you, Captain?
Who might you be, mister?
My name's Bonner, Vint Bonner.
Don't tell me you've never heard of Vent Bonner.
I can't say that I've had that pleasure, but I'm sure Mr. Bonner will excuse us while we discuss some government business.
Now, wait a minute, Captain. Come on in, Vent. I haven't had a proper chance to say goodbye.
Don't be too hard on the young fellow. He doesn't mean any harm, you know.
My orders, Sheriff. I think they pertain to you.
I really should be going, Ed. I'll call up to old Jesse for you.
Did you say old Jesse, Mr. Bonner?
That's right. Do you know him?
You ever seen anything like this?
I can't say that I have. Have you, Vent?
Gold. Odd-looking coin.
Yes, it is unusual. There was only one minting of those coins, and they were on a quartermaster train lost in this vicinity in '64 on or about the 19th day of October.
That's going on 20 years ago.
That's correct, Mr. Bonner. None of that gold shipment was ever recovered. Not until 6 weeks ago, then only those 2 coins.
You mean you come here to investigate old Jesse?
Investigate and interrogate.
Well, you're going to have to find him first.
That shouldn't be so difficult, Sheriff.
That's what you think. Why, Vent Bonner here is just about the only one that can get you within even talking range of that old man.
Are you a professional guide, Mr. Bonner?
I'm going that way. I'll be glad to point out old Jesse's place to you.
I've been empowered by the government of the United States to offer up to $100 American for a guide when deemed necessary to reach my destination. That's a government draft.
I've seen them before.
Shall we be on our way then?
Good day, Sheriff. How's your voice, Captain?
What do you mean?
I mean, can you be heard 100 yards?
Well, I think so. Why?
I think that's about as close as you're going to get to old Jesse. Well, that's Jesse's place. They're up on top of the hill. So how much did you say was in that shipment of gold?
About $500,000, mostly in gold ingot.
That would be pretty heavy, wouldn't it?
Oh, about 1.5 tons.
1.5 tons? Well, how do you expect an old man to get 1.5 tons of gold up that hill?
Well, suppose I ask him that. Now, you've done your job, Mr. Bonner. I think I can handle it from here.
Captain, if you don't mind, I think I'll stick around.
Right, man.
Like that was your 100 yards, Captain. Maybe you better let me try at it.
Jesse! Hold it a gol darn minute, it's a friend!
I ain't got no friends. So go on about your business before I bring my aim down where it ought to be.
Did you hear what I said? It's Vint.
Vint? That's you, Vint?
Of course it's me.
Come up a little closer so I can get a better look at you, Vint. Be careful, mind you. That's far enough, Vint. Now, what's on your mind?
Now look, Jesse. I want to talk to you. Close up and private. I'm coming up all the way.
I knew the old saw about curiosity killing the cat. With all this hardware around, it stood a good chance of killing me.
Jesse? Jesse?
Up in the air, Vin, where I can see them.
Take it easy, Jesse. Look, where in the world did you get all of these guns?
Never you mind about that. What you doing down there with all them Yankee soldiers?
Well, now, Jesse, just relax. I came up here to talk to you a little bit.
I can only see 3 or 4 of them. Old eyes ain't so good no more like they used to be. But there must be 100 of them hid out down there under cover.
No, Jesse, there's no 100.
Not that I blame them, mind you. Because I used to be a crack shot in my younger days when my eyes was better. Because even now I could pick enough of them off so they'd never know what hit them.
Yeah, Jesse, I'm sure you could, but now listen to me. There's no 100 soldiers down there. There's just 3, a captain and 2 aides. And we came up here...
We? Which side you on, Vin?
Jesse, don't be ridiculous. There's no sides anymore. The war's over.
Don't sweet talk me, son. Which side you on?
Jesse, I'm on your side. Any side you're on, I'm on.
Yeah, I know it. I knowed it, son. I knowed it. You know, you and me betwixt us could stand off the whole doggone Union Army.
Bet we could.
There's the side I'm on. That's the side I fit on. Fit with them 4 years. I'd fight with them 4 more years, too, if they was to need me. You see that flag there, son? Yeah. General Lee himself gave me that flag. Yes, sir, Robert E. Lee. Come riding up there on that great big old white horse of his and, what is that, Traveler, his name was. He called me right out of the ranks, and he said to me, yeah. What them doggone Yankees want with me anyway?
Well, Jesse, it doesn't make any difference now. It couldn't be true anyway.
What do you mean don't make no difference? Man like you ain't gonna come all the way up here about something that don't make no difference, risking a shot from my gun? And what is this here that can't be true?
Well, that young Union officer seems to think that you've got over a ton of gold stashed in the shack up here.
This here ain't no shack. This here is my home. Shack. Intelligent young fella like you ain't gonna think that a old man like me got all that gold stashed away up here, is you?
Well, I admit, Jesse, it isn't very likely.
No, it ain't likely, but it could be true.
How would you get it up here?
You?
Oh, Jesse, this rough country, all that weight, you'd kill a mule.
I did. Kill 4 of them. Doggone you, I killed myself, toting all of you on my own back after the mules all died.
Now, wait just a minute, Jesse. That's absolutely impossible.
Impossible. I'm telling you the truth. I know what I got up here.
Well, I know this much. You haven't got that gold up here, not that much of it anyway.
Oh, you think you know so doggone. You think you're so doggone smart. You think you know everything, don't you? Just hold your horses, son. Just hold your horses. Look at here. Prize of war, son. Prize of war.
Well, the prize of war. Jesse, the war's over.
No, not for me, it ain't. We whooped them fair and square in 61 and 62 before them Yankees started resorting to all them tricks. Why, at Vicksburg, if them Yankees hadn't blowed their bugles all night, so we couldn't get a wink of sleep. A fighting man can't fight without sleep.
Jesse.
Then at Antietam, if a Yankee spy hadn't put whiskey in the horse's feed, we'd have whooped them there, too.
Jesse, will you listen to me?
Then at Shiloh, them beans we captured from the Yankees, how did we know them beans was wormy?
Jesse, listen to me. I know how you feel about the war, but what's that got to do with all this gold?
Well, seeing as how they didn't win the war, fair and square resorting to all them tricks, appears to me like they ought to surrender.
They ought to what?
Surrender! And seeing as how I'm about the only fighting man the South has got left, it looks to me like they ought to surrender to me. 'Cause that's the only way they're ever gonna get that gold.
Mr. Bonner, I'm an officer of the United States Army. My first and only concern is the successful disposition of my mission. Now, I've been ordered to retrieve that gold. I intend to do so.
No matter what the cost.
Need I inform you, Bonner, that any interference by civilians might be regarded as treason?
I can locate no telegraph, sir.
Why, they're in a telegraph office within 50 miles.
As you were, Jenks. Well, then the four of us will have to enter that shack.
The three of you.
You have a short memory, Bonner. As I recall, you are still in Army employ.
Captain, the Army employed me to guide them to old Jesse's shack. I've done that.
Have it as you will, the three of us.
And I hope you've notified your next of kin, because the three of you aren't coming back.
One old man against 3 cavalry troopers? It's hardly a match.
But I've seen that old man's arsenal, and I think he's gonna win.
Ridiculous.
Captain.
Yes.
Begging your pardon, sir, meaning no disrespect, but don't you think Mr. Bonner has a point, sir? That Gatling gun and all, sir?
And all what, Jenks?
Well, sir, Mr. Bonner has already told us that shack's built by the fort.
That's Mr. Bonner's opinion.
Begging the captain's pardon again, sir. But that's my opinion, too, sir.
That'll be enough, Jenks.
Yes, sir.
Well, it seems you've made a convert.
Well, think of it this way, Captain. How would it look on the record if you and your aides failed to take the gold from that old man?
What do you mean, how would it look?
Embarrassing. Now, it wouldn't hurt to check with your superior officer, you know. Aside from the field piece and the Gatling gun, I saw a number of other weapons.
Mr. Bonner, have a chair.
Thank you, General.
Now, would you please start at the beginning?
Yes, sir, I'll try, but like you say, it's a little confusing. Well, let me see. In the first place, it's possible that the North didn't win the Civil War.
What?
Maybe I better start again. Did you ever hear of the 1st Texas Cavalry, sir?
What Union soldier within 1,000 miles of the Mississippi hasn't?
Well, that was old Jesse's outfit.
Well, it was a fine force. I know because I fought against it. And if old Jesse was a member of that outfit, he was quite a soldier in his day.
Well, that's what he says. He also says, well, he said that that the North didn't win the war. Fair and square, that is. He said that, well, for instance, at Vicksburg, the Northern buglers kept blowing their horns all night and kept the Southern soldiers awake, and that's why they lost the battle. And at Antietam, a Northerners put whiskey in the horse feed, and some of the Southern horses were drunk.
Mr. Bonner, will you please make some sense?
Well, let me put it this way, General. Jesse occupies an impregnable position on a cliff against a mountain wall.
Pete guards every approach. Aside from a field piece and a Gatling gun, he's got enough small arms to last for weeks. There's bound to be bloodshed.
Can it be avoided?
I think so, General, if you let me arrange a surrender.
Mr. Bonner, the South surrendered 20 years ago.
No, General, I don't think you understand what I mean. What I mean is, I want to arrange for you to surrender to Jesse.
Mr. Bonner, you must be completely and totally out of your mind.
Maybe I am, General, but I thought the government wanted that gold back.
Well, of course they do.
Well, this way they could get it back without firing a shot and with no bloodshed.
Well, of course the government can use the gold, all right, but you'll have to give me time to see if this can be arranged.
By all means, General, take all the time you want.
It's amazing what gold will buy these days.
You're so right, General. Jesse? Jesse?
I'm right behind you, Vint.
Jesse, come on out here. I want to talk to you. Now, sit down over here, will you? Just sit down, and will you give me the gun, will you?
No, I ain't going to give you my gun.
Put it down on the table.
I don't feel comfortable without my gun.
I don't feel very comfortable with you. We'll just put it down on the table.
Put it right here?
Yeah, you can grab it anytime you want it.
That's handy so I can grab it if I need it.
Jesse, I just talked with this General Ballison.
General who?
General Ballison, he's the Union commander here in Kansas.
Ah, Yankee.
Well, he's a soldier, just like you are.
That don't make no difference. He's still a Yankee.
Well, he'd heard about your troop. Said you were just about the best fighters in the whole war. Said he wouldn't want to tangle with you under any circumstances.
Did he?
That's right.
Oh, go on. That shows uncommon good sense. That is for a Yankee.
Said he'd like to meet up with you sometime. To put it in his words, to pay respects to a worthy opponent.
Oh, Vin. You're joking.
No, I'm not. I'm just repeating what the general said.
Well, you know, you're kind of making it hard for me to stay mad at him.
Well, Jesse, since you feel that way, and since he wants to talk to you, why don't you meet with him, soldier to soldier?
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. Maybe I will. Of course, on the other hand, maybe I won't.
Welcome to Shelby, General.
Thank you, Mr. Bonner. I expect you've made the necessary arrangements.
Yes, sir. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, Mars Clearing, if that's all right with you.
I find that acceptable. Until 10 o'clock, then. Captain, you'll find a suitable site near Mars Clearing.
Yes, sir.
Corporal, carry on.
Jesse, it's getting late. Sun's getting high. Jesse!
Don't get yourself in a uproar, Vint. I gotta iron the wrinkles out of this here uniform. Tain't fitting to appear before no general in it like this, even if he is a Yankee. All right.
Come on, Jesse, time's wasting.
I'm coming, Vint. I'm coming.
Well, that looks just fine. Turn around, let me see you.
First time I had the thing on in more than 20 years.
Yes, sir. What's that?
What's this here?
Now, look, Jesse.
Doggone it. I told you I didn't feel comfortable without it.
Well, this is one time you're gonna have to feel comfortable without it. Now go on out and get on your mule. I'll be right out. Go on.
All right. Come on, boy.
Whom am I addressing, sir?
Jesse R. McKeither, Sergeant C Company, 1st Texas Cavalry.
I am General Thomas Balderson, commander of the Military District of Kansas. I am proud to meet you, Sergeant McKee.
I'm certainly proud to meet you too, sir.
In respect and tribute to your superior military ability and position, Sergeant, I would deem it a great honor if I may offer a token of respect from myself and the Army of the United States. Do I have your leave, sir?
Yes, you surely have. You're very kind, sir. You know, I never thought I'd live to see the day when I'd be saying that to a Yankee. But I can't take your sword, sir, because I know how important them things is to a military man.
It's offered in all sincerity, Sergeant. I would take it as a personal affront if you did not accept. I consider it a point of honor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly. I'll treasure this year to my dying day. I'll never forget you, General. Never, sir.
And I'm quite sure I'll remember you for a long time, too, Sergeant. Captain?
Yes, sir?
You will retrieve the gold at the sergeant's convenience, and mark you it must be done with honor.
Did you hear what the man said?
I heard him, Jesse.
He said he would consider it a personal insult if I didn't take his sword, and he said he would never forget me. We whooped him, Vin, we whooped him. Ain't that something?
That's something. Windy October day, fast coming on toward night. It was plain that the winter snows weren't far away. I couldn't help thinking how good a nice hot cup of coffee would taste.
Well, I know we've been on the trail 3 days, but sitting here ain't getting the job done. Yours can't be too far off now.
It's all right.
Hello
there, John. You're a long way from home.
Hello, Vint. I might say the same about you. Want a cup of coffee? There's some hot.
In this weather? You kidding?
Didn't see anything of a rider in the past few hours, did you?
It's kind of a lonely stretch of trail back there. I take it you mean a particular rider.
Yes, Vint, he's particular. He's a killer. He don't kill for the reasons most men do. It's like he enjoys it.
I've met that kind once or twice.
Not like Matt Pierce, you haven't. He killed a whole family for a few dollars and a fresh horse.
What?
A whole family, Vint. At a little place a few miles out of Carlsberg. In all my life, I never saw anything like I saw at that little farm.
I guess I never did meet that kind before.
I figure since the bridge over Silver Canyon on the trail ahead's been washed out by all this rain we've been having, Pierce cut out south along the canyon. We'll catch up to him sometime tomorrow.
Do you want me to ride with you, John?
No, thanks. There is something you can do, Vint. Remember Melanie?
Melanie? Of course I do. How is she?
She's married, Vint. Lives on a little ranch not 2 miles from here, north along the canyon.
She was one of the prettiest girls I ever knew. Did she make a good marriage?
Why don't you stop by and say hello? I think she'd be glad to see you.
You didn't answer my question.
I reckon that's a hard question to answer, Vint. She might like the comfort of having you around in case we figured wrong and Matt Pierce is still hereabouts. Matter of fact, I was going to leave one of the men off there just in case.
What's wrong with her husband?
Well, we've got to be riding, Vint. The way them clouds are gathering, looks like the storm ain't over yet. So long, Vint. I'm looking for Melanie. Melanie?
Melanie?
Why, what a surprise.
Melanie.
It's been so long, Vince.
5 years.
How have you been?
Just fine, thanks. And you?
Fine. I was down at the barn, putting stock away. Looks like rainstorm's coming up.
More like a thunderstorm. Should strike any minute.
The last time I heard about you were in Arizona.
Guess I haven't got any roots.
I know.
I ran into Sheriff Bronson from over at Carlsberg. He told me you lived over here, and I just thought I'd drop by and say hello.
Yes, the sheriff was by here earlier. In fact, when I saw your horse outside, I was worried that you might be...
Matt Pierce.
We don't have many visitors here. Jim and me. Would you like some supper? I can warm something.
Yes, thank you. I am some hungry.
He's my husband.
What's wrong with him?
He's paralyzed.
How do you manage here all alone?
I have a hired hand. Old Josh. He went down at Eagle Cut this afternoon for supplies. Should be back pretty soon now.
Melanie, does your husband know I'm here? In this room?
Jim doesn't even know I'm in this room.
Melanie? Melanie? Melanie!
That's Eben. I guess the thunder scares him. He's not very smart. Melanie's the only word he ever learned.
I can remember when they might have said that about me.
Come on, Junie, come on. What's the matter with you? We're already late for supper. Melanie will be turning in before we get there. Come on, come on. Oh, what? Anybody want to go and do a thing like that for Junie?
Hope you liked your dinner, Vint.
There's nothing I like better than chicken and dumplings.
Jim's favorite. Or it was. Jim wasn't always the way he is now, Vint. He used to be strong, like you. I guess after you left Carlsberg, I looked for a little bit of you in every man that I met.
Melanie, you don't have to tell me anything you don't want to.
I've got to tell somebody.
All right.
But you know how I used to be. I was very young when I knew you. And I guess I was pretty then.
You still are.
I guess I got too much attention.
Including mine.
What, about 3 years ago, I met Jim. We fell in love right off. And he asked me to marry him.
What did he do?
He was foreman on a cattle ranch. This place was to be the start of our own little ranch. Then I ruined everything for us.
How could you do that?
Jim went out of town. He was to be gone about a week. A fellow I used to know asked me to the Saturday night dance. You know me, I never could turn down a dance.
I remember.
Well, we hadn't been there very long. He'd had too much to drink, like he always did. I asked him to take me home. When we got outside...
No, Melanie, you ain't serious about leaving the dance. We just barely got here.
Charlie, I asked you to take me home.
Why? Because I've been drinking? That didn't used to bother you so much.
You know things aren't the same anymore, Charlie.
No, I guess they're not. Little Melanie's got herself engaged to a big, strong cow pusher, Jim Carter. But when he's out of town, Melanie comes back to good old Charlie.
I shouldn't have come here with you tonight. Now, please, take me home.
All right. I'll take you home.
Melanie!
What are you doing here?
Nothing at all. I just came for the dance.
We didn't mean to rile you, cowboy. Now, did we, Melanie?
You ought to know better, Charlie.
Melanie, I don't know what to say to you.
You're gonna be sorry you did that, cowboy.
I'm taking you home, Melanie.
Look out, Jim.
Get away from me. Leave me alone. I can get up by myself. We'll help you, Jim. We'll get you to the doc.
We took him to the doctors. But there was nothing old Doc Adams could do. Several weeks passed, and Jim still couldn't move his legs. Doc said that the bullet injured his spine, but that the paralysis was only temporary. It was more of a sickness of his mind than it was of his body. All because of me.
Look, blaming yourself isn't going to help. Maybe what you did was wrong, but certainly the penalty you're paying is too much.
I thought maybe if I could prove to him that I really did love him, it would help. We were married in Carlsbad. About 2 years ago, came out here to live. Jim said I married him out of pity. Then he just stopped talking altogether. He hasn't said a word now in months. He just keeps staring as though he would die.
Looks like I got you in here just in time. Yeah, get your clothes off.
Jim, if you could only hear me. Who are you? What do you want?
Well, ma'am, it's storming out.
I'm sorry, but you'll have to find someplace else to stay.
How come he don't ask me to leave? How come he don't say nothing?
He's sick.
Yeah? Sheriff was by here earlier, wasn't he?
Yes, and he'll be back. He knows you're around.
And I reckon you know who I am.
Yes.
Sheriff ain't coming back. I seen him cutting south along the canyon. Who's down in the barn?
Somebody passing through.
Yeah?
What are you doing?
Well, I'm just going to see how sick he really is.
Get out of this house.
How'd I know he wasn't just sitting there waiting for me to turn my back so he could jump me?
He can't hurt you.
Why, I know that, ma'am, now. I seen lots of men like him in the war. Men couldn't fight no more. They said killing made them sick in the head, that they weren't fit to kill no more.
They's wrong. And I showed them how wrong they were. Any man can learn how to kill. I got my first man on my 15th birthday. That's quite a birthday present, wasn't it? Where you going?
Oh, nowhere. I was just...
Is he your man?
Yes?
Then you don't want to do nothing that'd force me to kill him, would you? Morning, I'll borrow me a fresh horse. That'd be the last you see of me. But in the meantime, why don't you and me get friendly?
Please, don't.
Oh, no, now, who's gonna know? That half a man sitting there like a corpse?
Don't touch me.
How long's it been since a real man kissed you?
Don't touch me. If you...
That's just what I intend to do.
If you do, I'll scream and it'll come running out.
Vince? Vince Bonner?
Don't you touch me again.
I thought pretty girls like being kissed. Scream ought to bring Bonner running. You just stand right over here and keep quiet, and nobody will get hurt. Just hold it. All right, now get up. Get up. Get away from it. I heard you, Bonner. But I heard you were smart. Maybe you ain't so smart, Bonner.
Maybe you're right, Pierce.
You heard of me too, huh? I guess everybody knows who I am.
There's a posse not far from here. If you're smart, you'll get on your horse and make tracks.
That's just what I aim to do come morning. And when that posse gets back, I'm gonna be long gone.
What are your plans for us?
Well, I thought I just might make you squirm a little bit. Matt Pierce is going to make the great Vent Bonner squirm. Now, how'd you like that, Mr. Bonner? And then maybe we can sit down and you can tell me a whole bunch of lies about how fast you are with a gun. And then in the morning, I'm going to kill you. Unless between now and then you can figure some way to get this rifle away from him. I hope you was going to make some coffee.
Yes, that's what I was going to do.
Well, I like mine strong. How about you, Bonner? Try something like that once more, and I won't wait till morning to kill you.
You better hold on to that rifle. Because I'm gonna take you apart.
When that rain stops, I'm gone. You got from now till then. That girl must think a lot of you, Bonner, risking her life trying to get that gun to you. Daylight's come, Bonner. It's time for you and me to take a little walk. On your feet.
Melanie, Melanie.
No. He'll live.
Load him up, boys. We're on our way back to Carlsberg. I never thought we'd take him back alive.
What brought you back this way, Sheriff?
Flash flood south. We knew he couldn't have got through that way, so we doubled back. I'm sorry to say we found the body of old Josh by the trail, not far back.
Oh.
Morning, Sheriff. Ben, it looks like Jim's going to be all right now.
Good morning, Melanie.
Morning, Vent.
Good morning, Jim.
Sheriff?
Melanie? See you around, Jim. Well, we've got a long ride ahead of us. I guess we better move out. So long, Vent. And thanks.
Thank you. Melanie? Jim, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but Sheriff found old Josh's body on the trail. He's dead.
Oh, Vent.
Everything's going to be all right now, Melanie.
Bright day coming on.
Does look like there's going to be sunshine.
River far, far away. There's where my heart am longing ever. That's where the old folks stay. All the world am sad and
Must be improving. We never took any notice before.
Pardon me, I'd appreciate your pointing out the Abilene Trail.
Well, that trail's kind of hard to find even in the daylight, man.
Well, if you'll just point out the direction, I'll be greatly obliged.
All right, you see the Big Dipper right up there? It points to Polaris. That's the North Star. You just follow that and you'll end up right in Abilene.
I guess I'm not much good at following stars.
At night, the prairie's like an ocean. You have to learn to navigate.
I'll pay you to guide me.
I'm not going that way. Besides, it'd be better for you to wait till morning and then go on. My bacon's burning.
Look, I'll give you $100 to take me to the railroad.
Say, would you like some of these beans?
2.
I'm not a bad cook.
3.
Are you running from or to something?
No questions, and you can name your own price.
Look, young lady, there's too many things about you that don't add up. First, your horse is kind of poorly, and that saddle cost you plenty. You're dressed in plain prairie goods, and your pocketbook's bulging with greenbacks.
Look, I want to hire a guide, not a fortune teller.
I like to know who I'm working for and what I'm being hired for. Here, have some of these beans. You'll feel a lot better. Now, I'm not that bad a cook.
You're a fine cook. It's me. I'm all mixed up. I failed.
About what?
Everything.
I remember I felt that way once. I must have been about 16 years old.
You don't understand. He's coming after me.
A real man doesn't hesitate to act.
You want a little help, senor?
You know better than to try and run away.
I'm not taking orders from you, not anymore.
You're coming back. I'm warning you, Abigail.
Don't threaten me.
Garcia, my friend, what would you do if a woman hit you like that?
If any of my muchachas were to do that to me, I would cut off a finger, so they remember not to do it again.
Here, tie her up. You've been too gentle with her.
We do not have all night, senor.
I was hoping you wouldn't do that. This lady's going to Abilene with me.
She's coming back.
I don't think so.
Oh, he doesn't think so.
A man's a fool when he argues against 3-to-1 odds.
You changed your mind, ma'am?
Yes, I'm going home with him.
Home?
I'm his wife. This is Peter Garrick.
It's bad business to mix between a husband and wife, senor. It's a quick way to get hurt. You keep winning like this, and nobody out west is going to deal you in.
You gentlemen won't believe we did any gambling back east.
Well, then I'd say you did right to come out west.
Sure. Look what I have to show for a year's farming.
Farming? That's no good. That's what I did when I first come out here. Take a lifetime to scrounge out a few $1,000s. I told you, Peter. You can do better than struggle with a farm all your life. What do you say, Peter?
Let's ride to town. I've got some business at the bank.
Señor, nos vamos.
We're waiting, Peter.
It's you.
I thought you'd be expecting me.
Why?
Well, there's $500 in this. Kind of careless, aren't you?
Come in. Thank you. Oh, you expect a reward.
No, ma'am. You know, as long as I live, I don't think I'll ever understand women.
Why?
Well, if you'd stood pat last night, you'd be halfway to Abilene by now.
And you'd have been dead by now.
What?
Those two men, Matt and Garcia, they're killers. I came back here to save your life.
You know, I've changed my mind about that reward. No, I think perhaps I owe you something. Could I talk to you? Would you sit down?
Well, hello, Peter.
Mr. Loring?
How are you, Peter?
Mr. Loring?
Come in, sit down. Thank you. Anything special on your mind?
As a matter of fact, there is. The thing that bothers me is the payment on my ranch is due, and...
Well, now, don't worry about it, son. We know that things can get a little rough. I'll give you another extension.
Mr. Loring, I'm thinking of selling out.
You let your ranch run down, Peter. It isn't worth much the way it stands. Now, why don't you take a few $100s of your wife's money and spruce the place up, and then sell it?
Abigail's money isn't mine.
Oh, that's nonsense, Peter. Don't be so proud.
We still have that letter of credit their father left with us, untouched.
My parents helped us get started, and we're certainly going to help our kids.
Setting up a ranch isn't easy, Peter. Especially for city-bred folks who never had any experience at it.
Isn't there any other place we could keep these things?
No, Ethel, I'm sorry. We're going to have to take all those ledgers out of there now. We won't have any time tomorrow morning, and we've got to have every inch of space in there for that shipment of gold.
May I help you?
Please.
You know, Peter, your ranch has fine possibilities. One more year of work and...
Stop, don't touch that inkwell. Oh, thank heaven. I told you that thing is dangerous.
That's my bandit killer. We have the inkwell rigged up to the trigger of that shotgun up there. It's aimed at the other side of the teller's cage. All Ethel has to do is to move the inkwell and one bandit less.
It makes me nervous.
I tried it once. It blasted out that side window there. Oh, Peter, about selling your ranch, I'm against it. You're an intelligent man. There's no reason why you can't make a go of it.
Made up my mind, Mr. Loring. I'm going into a new business. But I want to thank you for everything you've done for both of us. You've been a real help.
I'm sorry to see you go.
Mrs. Loring?
Bye, Peter.
Any luck?
Tomorrow.
Oh, that's fine, Peter. Any idea how much?
They're cleaning out the safe to make room for it.
What's the matter, Peter? Your conscience bothering you about the Lorings?
They were good friends of mine.
Sure, I can understand that. But out west, a man must be able to seize an opportunity. Unless, of course, he lacks the courage or the strength to succeed.
Robbing a bank. You call that courage?
Well, a man can always quit. Drag himself and his wife back east.
I'm not dragging anything anywhere back east. What time do you want me to meet you tomorrow?
When the bank closes. Garcia. Follow him.
But it's getting dark, and my muchacha's waiting for me.
Better wait. I think our friend Peter might need some company. Make sure he goes straight home and doesn't change his mind.
What if he changes his mind after he gets home? After he sees his wife?
He won't.
You didn't have to escort me home.
It was nothing, senor.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See? Senor! Perhaps you have another bottle?
I'll see.
Bar is closed, amigo.
Oh, the senor who mixes between husbands and wives. I don't like you.
You know something? I feel the same way about you.
You got off very lucky the last time, senor.
You think I'll have a chance to try my luck again? Adios, amigo. On your horse.
doing here? Where's Garcia?
Garcia had to leave. Kind of a hurry, as a matter of fact. Take your hat off. You're not going anyplace. Pick it up. Here. Come over here. Pick up the apron. Go on, pick it up. Put it on. We're going to do some homework, teacher.
Who told you I was a schoolmaster?
Well, your wife and I had a long talk. We talked about the both of you. Your first lesson's going to be in advanced dishwashing, so put on the apron. That's right. It looks nice. You're going to need some hot water, so you better put the kettle on, too. Now, stack the dirty dishes on the drain board. That's nice. Don't you love her anymore?
What business is that of yours?
Well, now, I've never had any personal experience with matrimony, but I'm told that it's a share and share-like proposition. She's willing to share what you've got. Why don't you share what she has?
A man does not live on his wife's money.
Go on.
I don't know why she ever married me. Her father is rich. Gave her everything she's ever wanted.
She told me that.
Did she tell you how much a teacher gets paid? That her father paid for our luxuries, even our necessities that I couldn't afford? That I came out west to become a rich, independent rancher? That I'm a failure?
What's that got to do with Matt Devlin?
When an animal gets caught in a trap, nobody in the world has a right to judge how he gets himself free, not you or my wife or anybody.
That water's hot enough now. Now you pour that in the dishpan. Gonna be a lot of things cleaned up around here tonight. Now you put the dishes in the dishpan. Good, good. Now you take the soap and wash the dishes.
There it is, right on schedule. Come closing time, all we need is for Peter to put him off that guard inside the bank.
Maybe that hombre will not let him come.
Nobody's gonna stop Peter. He's hungry. Oh, not in his belly. Inside his head, where it counts.
Want some more coffee?
I'll get it.
No, Peter. Peter, Abigail wants some more coffee. All right, Bonner. You've had me up all night. Sweeping, dusting, washing. All right, you've made your point. A woman leads a dog's life. Her work is never done. Poor.
I'll have some, too.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank him. How long do you intend to keep this up?
That depends.
On what?
On Abigail here.
Peter, do you think we could ever learn to talk to one another again?
There's nothing to talk about.
It's no use.
Don't worry. I think we made some headway.
Back east, words came so easy. Many times we'd start to say the same thing at the same times. We knew what was in each other's heart.
Nice of him to bring the gold. Real considerate.
hope you're right about Peter.
Now, don't worry, he'll be here. Take my word, you can bank on it.
Peter was a fine teacher.
I can't say as I ever heard of many men teachers.
Teaching's a man-sized job, just like doctoring or engineering or any other kind of hard, honest labor.
Oh, I didn't mean anything by it.
Well, I didn't like the tone of voice you used. Peter was more than just a teacher. He was an educator. He fought for better schools.
How'd they do that?
By writing books. Like these. By speaking at conventions, by going around and...
Sounds like a man-sized job.
More than most people realize.
Schools should be filled with new ideas, not stuffed with old facts.
Sometimes I feel that our marriage has done Peter a terrible injustice.
Go west, young man. I don't suppose anybody ever questions that.
The West is supposed to be the land of opportunity.
Land of opportunity for a man is where he's needed the most, and where he's the most useful, east or west.
I guess we never realized that. Peter? 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 He's gone.
Where?
With Matt and Garcia to rob the Loring Bank. I've heard them plan it, every detail of it.
What?
My fine husband, the teacher's become Matt Devlin's pupil.
Abigail, you want to help?
Can we, Mr. Bonner?
If you'll do what I say, and be careful, maybe we can.
Peter goes into the bank first.
I follow and take care of the banker.
I'll be at the window watching the street.
I tell the bankers... No, I can't do it, Matt. You've got to call it off.
Call it off? Here's the chance you've been waiting for all these months.
I've changed my mind.
Well, I haven't. There must be $100,000 of gold in there. You know what that means? No more holding up stagecoaches. No more penny ante robberies. I've been waiting for this for years. And you're not gonna spoil it for me now, Mr. Garrick. Lorings trust you, and you're gonna get that gold for us.
No.
Don't waste your knife on him. If you don't go through with your part of the deal, Garcia and his knife will pay a visit to your wife, understand? You won't be needing that. Come on, we'll check on the horses.
Come in, Peter.
Very quiet. This knife flies very fast.
Mrs. Loring, if you do what you're told, you won't be hurt. We want that gold.
Tell her to bring them all out. We know how much there is.
You better do as he says, Mrs. Loring. When I tell you to duck, duck.
Now!
outside?
The marshal's got them well in tow.
Everything's been taken care of.
That is, everything but one thing.
Mr. Loring, I want you to sell our ranch.
Peter, where'll we go?
Back home. I'm going to get my old job back. And we're going to live on my salary. A teacher's salary.
As Greeley was wrong. Go east, young man. This is still a young country, and like any youngster, it's wild and undisciplined. There are a lot of ways to make a living. Right ways and wrong ways. They all have one thing in common. They're dangerous. Take a stagecoach driver, for instance. It's an honest way to make a living, but it's not safe. Kind of hard to say what makes a man pick a profession. There's the gambler. It's not what you'd call a safe line of work either, because his life expectancy isn't very long. Then I knew a fellow once who drove a dynamite wagon. I knew him a very short time. Some people are horse thieves by profession. Out here, they just don't live long at all. I guess it all goes to show you that a man's going to be what he's got to be. Sometimes it doesn't make any rhyme or reason, but there it is. I had an old friend, Doc Kemmer, who was kind of a combination con man, bootlegger, and witch doctor, which wasn't the safest profession, but he'd grown to be a pretty old man, and because of his good nature, was regarded with affection by the people to whom he peddled his cure-all. I ran into him every year or two. And as I pulled up into Prairie City that fall, there he was again.
This here bottle is guaranteed to cure every ill that flesh you there too. And if used around the house, it'll rid your household of every pest from cockroaches, bed bugs, flies, fleas, and poor relations. And furthermore, my friends, for them that's left-handed, I got a special left-handed bottle here, you see? It pours equally well. Left hand, or the right hand. Now, this here bottle I'm just about to offer you, I ain't asking you $5 for it. I ain't asking you for... hello there, Vint. yeah, folks, you all know Vint Bonner. Just a few years ago, he was so measly, so skinny, so porky, you had to look at him twice in order to see him once. But look at him now. Look at him now. As tall as a pine tree, as tough as an oak, and as agile as an antelope.
Well, that does it.
And do you know, ladies and gentlemen, to what he owes this here personal pulchritude?
Not that belly wash you're peddling.
Oh, hello there, Doc. Yeah, have you come for your free bottle? There you are, Doc. That, my friends, is what you call professional courtesy.
You look like you ought to have some sense. Sometimes I wonder. Paying good money for slop like this that couldn't cure a dog of last year's fleas. Then I figured better from you. You know what you're buying? You got any idea? Cheap alcohol and coloring matter mixed with fast talk.
Now listen to me, Doc.
Anybody needs a drink that bad, I'll be glad to buy him one.
I'd be glad to take you up on that.
Anybody but you.
Temper. That, my friends, comes from too much liver bile poured into the bloodstream. But here's the thing that'll stop it. Just one bottle of old Doc Kemmer's miracle cure. Now, today I'm offering you a special buy. I ain't asking you $5 for this. It's worth 10. I ain't asking you 5, I ain't asking you 4, 3, 2. I'm asking you one measly silver dollar. That's all I'm asking. Step up, folks, step up. I got plenty for all. I tell you, as a special sale today, I'm going to knock the price down to 6 bits. 4 bits. 2 bits. First man that steps up can get a bottle free. Kind of looks like I'll have to give a supper show to make up for this. When'd you get into town?
Just now. I'll see you later, Doc. Say, promise not to use me as bait, will you?
I want a drink. Like I just told you, I want a drink.
Like I just said, I can't give you no drink. I got orders from Doc Hallop.
Doc Hallop doesn't tell me when to have a thirst.
I'm sorry, Hode. I'm beholden to him.
I'm going to count to 5.
There better be a drink on the bar before I'm through. 1, 2.
Oh, he's not armed.
Listen, Bonner, I don't want no trouble from you.
Looks like he feels the same way about you.
I'll be back.
Well, looks like I owe you a beer. Well, if you paid me, you wouldn't owe me.
Come on in, Hode. I know you tried to buy a drink.
A man's got some rights.
Doctor's got duties.
You got a duty to tell the truth.
I told you the truth. I told you this morning.
There ain't nothing wrong with me. Look at them hands. There ain't a man in town I can't break into.
You won't do any more fighting, Hode.
You're tricking me. On account of Amy.
My sister's got nothing to do with this.
You've been trying to keep us apart. You packed her off to New Orleans.
We've got family there. They wanted to see her. Hode, it's just possible I could be wrong. But you don't have to take my word for it. You could see some doctors in St. Louis.
St. Louis? That'd suit you just fine. To get me out of town before Amy gets back.
All right, then. Stay.
Half alive, half dead like you're making me out? No, sir. I ain't buying, Doc.
It's your life.
Maybe there's no help for me. Maybe you're telling the truth. But if you're lying, somebody could die. Somebody. And it wouldn't be me.
It's Vin Bonner.
Oh, come in, Vin. Come in. Make yourself at home.
Don't tell me you drink the stuff yourself.
Sure, it don't taste so bad when you get used to it. Besides, I've been having them pains.
How long?
Oh, past 3 or 4 months now. Feels like somebody was jabbing a hot poker in my gut.
Maybe you ought to see Doc Hallop.
Not in your tintype. Folks see me going into a doctor's office, I'd never sell another bottle. Here, have a snort on the house. Go on, it's fresh.
I could make a cold water man out of me. Besides, you and I both know it's belly wash, just like the doc said. All it is alcohol and coloring. And what's that you're putting in?
Yeah, that's just quinine. That's to make it taste bitter. Here's the funny thing. Folks ain't got no faith in a remedy less than it tastes bad. All right. That's one of the first things you learn in the druggist trade.
Next, you're going to tell me that you used to be a druggist.
Sure I was. Had my own store back in Illinois, right on the main street, right in the middle of town. Was doing the fine business. Had a good reputation myself, too. And suddenly, you make a mistake. Just one mistake. That's all.
Didn't you ever think of starting over again? In a town like this? Doc Hallop could use a man like you.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I don't need Doc Hallop.
Maybe he needs you.
The other folks needs me more.
Oh, come now, Doc. You know and I know that you are a fake.
Fake? What are you talking about, fake? You got any idea how many folks this here stuff helps? Folks that think they're sick and they ain't, this here makes them feel fine. Then there's folks that doctors give up for lost. This here stuff gives them hope. And Vint, without hope, a man might just as well be dead.
Oh, sure. And then there are the folks who just like to get soused respectable.
Sure. You take like fellas that don't dast go in near a saloon because their wives don't hold with drinking liquor. You got any idea how many families this here stuff holds together? Have you got... Oh.
You gotta do something about that pain or you're not gonna hold together.
All right. All right.
Expecting someone, Doc?
You never know. Won't say I was expecting you after the way I cussed you out. You're glad you dropped in. Vint, I'm sorry I had to tie into you. Nothing personal.
No harm taken.
It just surprised me to see you with that old goat.
Oh, you mean the doc?
Don't call him that in this office. Faker, charlatan, liar, cheat. Call him anything you want, but don't call him doctor.
All right, Doc. I won't call the doc. Sorry.
Nothing to joke about. Man's dangerous. I'd sooner see smallpox in town. It's good to see you all in one piece. How do you do it, Vin?
Oh, I manage. Of course, once in a while I run into some trouble. Say, Doctor, what does it mean if you've got a pain down low, about here?
What kind of pain?
Oh, sharp, tearing. Well, like something's pulling the hinges loose.
How often?
Every few minutes.
Well, it could be almost anything. Obstruction, tumor, inflamed appendix.
Serious?
Coming like that. Severe and frequent. Yes, I would guess it was serious. But you don't look too sick.
No, it's not me.
Then you better tell your friend to come in.
I already have. Oh, thanks. How much do I owe you?
Say, $2 million?
Huh?
Maybe you can do me a favor sometime.
Maybe I can now. I just came from the saloon.
You mean Hode?
Yeah, he's mad, real mad. Thinks you're being real rough on him.
I know what I'm doing.
Doesn't sound like you, though. Just one drink now and
He
again.
won't stop with one. He never does. He'll get himself drunk and go roaring around. I can't let him vent. He's sick.
Bad?
Real bad. His heart.
Oh. Well, thanks again.
Here, I've got money to buy. Well, are you going to sell it to me or not?
Sure, I'm going to sell it to you. Ain't nobody never had to make me sell it nothing. How many bottles you want?
3.
3, all right. Here you are. Cash on the barrelhead, young fella. Right on the barrelhead. Yep, you can come up with 6 bits more. This here is $1.25 after office hours. There you are.
You're sure this stuff will do what you say?
Sure, I'm sure. I've been using it myself for 20 years. Never had nary ache nor pain.
You ain't tricking me. You'd give me your word.
Look here, it's written right here on the bottle. See that? It says it tones up the liver, aids digestion, enriches the blood, fortifies the heart, and regulates the bile. A secret formula handed down through generations of Indian medicine men. What? And I don't guess I left out nothing vital.
Howard? I'm sorry about what happened in the saloon. It actually wasn't any of my business.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Vin.
Has Hode Emery been here?
Oh, Hode Emery?
You know who I mean, the fellow in the crowd that the doc straightened out. Has he been here?
Well, let me see now.
Did you sell him anything?
Huh? Well, you know, now that you mentioned
Look,
it...
answer me.
What?
Did you sell him any of that hogwash of yours, and if so, how many bottles?
I only sold him 3 bottles. I didn't cheat him or nothing. I just charged him the regular price. What's all the fuss about?
He's liable to get himself drunk.
Well, he's a grown man, ain't he?
He's sick. If he gets drunk, he might die. If he dies, you're in trouble.
Shooting off my mouth like that, I figured it cost me 2 years practice and free drinks. Where's everybody, Jake? You're not talking much today. Where is everybody?
Oh, I hear they got a game going.
Oh, where?
Hode Emery's store.
Is Hode playing? Well, is he?
Doc, he's mean. Now, you stay clear of him.
Well, I'll just make that a small $5.
$5 ain't never been small to me.
Gonna get bigger all the time. Gonna weed out the boys before this hand is over. Come on, cowboy. It's only money, that's all.
Well, in that case, I'll see you a 5 and raise you 5.
That's good. That's real good. I sure like a man who knows how to make fun. Well, I'll just make that another 5. We'll have them running for the tall grass.
I'll see you while I can.
Cards.
2. You ain't taking none?
No need to take when you got. Cowboy, I'm going to show you cards that medicine fella don't even know about. Hello, Bonner.
Hi, Hode. Can I see you a moment? I'd like to look at one of your saddles.
Can't help you now. I'm closed for business. Open for pleasure, though. You're welcome to join.
No, thanks.
Anybody got the rheumatism? I got a Doc Hallop that's scared.
Yeah, well, they're smart. If you were, you wouldn't be drinking that stuff.
Why not? I'm feeling fine. Ain't felt this good in months. Nothing wrong with me.
Doc Hallop says there is.
Doc Hallop is wrong.
Look, Hode.
Bonner, I ain't drunk enough to draw against you.
Nor sober enough either.
Wouldn't matter. I wouldn't stand a chance. But guns ain't the only way to settle things. We'd be pretty near even with our fists. Hey, tell me you're a pretty big man, Bonner. Want to prove it?
I can't fight you, Hode.
Then leave me be. Stay out of my business. What do you got?
3 trays. What do you know? My little tray stand up.
Aces over 8s. Dead man's hand.
Hey, Doc.
Doc?
You want another? No. But it might do you some good. Look, you gotta stop worrying yourself about Hode. There's only so much a man can do.
Doc Keller.
He'll kill you, Doc, without even thinking twice. I'm telling you, you stay away from that store. Now, let me give you another little drink. Here.
Tell him, Doc.
I'll bet I can't.
You've got to. It's an emergency. He could kill himself.
I didn't know that stuff was poison to him.
Doctor? Come on.
bottle down. You heard what I said?
Well, I heard you fine, Doc. I heard you fine. Are you aiming to charge me for this visit, Doc? Any case, you saved me some trouble. I'd have come after you.
You're talking out of the bottle, Hode.
You told me I didn't have a chance. You said there wasn't anything could help.
There isn't.
Well, this stuff's doing pretty good. I feel fine. You lied to me, Doc.
That's not true.
You tried to make a half a man out of me. Couldn't do a whole day's work. Couldn't buy a drink. Couldn't support a wife. Tell him why, Doc.
Because you can't.
Because you were scared I'd marry your sister. Because you don't think I'm good enough for her.
I don't think you're right for her or for yourself. Not until you stop injuring yourself all the time with that stuff. I'm not tricking you, Hode. Every drop you drink.
You're lying! I told you what had happened. Did you lie to me?
He ain't lying. He ain't lying. He's
Put
just
the
trying
gun
to
away,
help
Hode.
you.
All right, Doc, tell him what's in the bottle.
Oh, Vin, don't make me.
Doc, tell him what's in the bottles.
Vin, I can't. It's a secret formula. It took me years to build it up. If he ain't happy, I'll give him back his money.
You can't give him back his life. Now tell him.
Well, it's mostly just alcohol and water and little vegetable coloring, you know, and then some quinine to give it a bad taste.
That's all?
That's all, yeah.
I was feeling so right. I was so sure. You gave me your word. You promised. You said it would help.
I wasn't intentioning to hurt nobody.
You lied! You lied!
Are you all right? I don't know. I can't tell you. Hey, boys, give him a hand.
All that homemade rot good had been drinking, I hardly had to use any chloroform.
Well, tell him when he comes to. And don't try and tell him it wasn't good for something.
Good for fools. Hadn't been for that bullet, he might have been dead. That appendix you were talking about?
Yeah?
Could have ruptured any minute. I took it out when I went after the bullet.
Vince.
Don't try to talk.
Vince, that young fella, he didn't mean no harm to nobody. He was just scared, that's all.
Well, he's not scared anymore.
Well, how come he ain't...
Plenty of time to ask questions. Be around for quite a spell.
I might have known once you got me down, you'd keep me down.
Well, you won't be down for long, and while you're getting better, you can assist the doctor here.
I don't know nothing about doctrine.
Just so you admit it. I'll get some rest. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, looky here. Doc, I ain't got no business no more, you know. I'm going to pay for this share. What's this here thing going to cost?
Nothing.
Nothing?
It's what you call professional courtesy.
Yeah.
Last I heard of Doc Kemmer, he'd turned honest. He'd become a legitimate pharmacist. Of course, he still mixed his own private brew. Couldn't stand bar whiskey. He missed that quinine taste.
job, but it has its drawbacks. For instance, I, for one, don't like sleeping on railroad ties. That's why when I was working through the southern part of Arizona, I was happy to find accommodations for a few days with Abigail and Elizabeth Sweet. These two gentle little old spinsters took me in, adopted me, mothered me, heaped kindness on me. I liked it. Of course, you can stand only so much kindness, too.
Mr. Bonner! Good morning, Mr. Bonner.
Good morning, Miss Abigail.
Sister, he's up.
Oh, did you sleep well, Mr. Bonner?
Just fine. Most comfortable bed I ever saw.
Some coffee for you.
Thank you, Miss Abigail.
We wrapped a hot brick in flannel and put it at your feet last night to help keep you warm.
This man burnt my toe.
Oh.
Hello there. Anybody home?
Oh, that sounds like Sheriff Conroy. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning, ladies. Is Vint up yet? Oh, Vint! Vint, get up! Come on, I need you, man.
All right. You sure are out early.
I ain't been in yet. Tracking rustlers gives me no time for sleep.
Oh, you poor man.
Well, did you have any luck?
How do you find spooks? There's no organized gangs in the area. There's no strange cattle shipments. There's nothing unusual at all. This is piecemeal cattle rustling. 3 head at one time, 6 head the next. Some of the folks are blaming renegade Indians. Some folks are blaming squatters. But everybody's blaming me.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it, Elizabeth?
Yes, my heart goes out to him, Abigail.
Well, thanks, ladies, but your sympathy ain't going to get the Cattlemen's Association off the back of my neck. Vint, you get around a lot with this survey party. Now, have you ever spotted anything that looks unusual?
I'm sorry, Sheriff. I haven't seen a thing.
Well, keep your eyes peeled. I'm heading back to town.
Sheriff, I'm going with you. I gotta meet my crew.
Well, take care of yourself, Mr. Bonner, and don't get in any drafts.
Mr. Bonner, are you wearing your...
My what?
Longies.
Yes, Miss Abigail, I've got them on.
Well, here, let me fix your collar.
And remember, if it rains, put on your poncho.
Yes, ladies, thank you. Let's go, Sheriff. Goodbye, Abigail.
Goodbye, Mr. Bonner.
Goodbye, Miss Abigail. Goodbye, Miss Elizabeth.
Now, Abigail?
Not now, Elizabeth.
Now, Abigail?
Now, Elizabeth.
Oh, you be a good girl now.
Want me to help you? Oh, well. Now let's don't come unglued.
Go back where you come from. Back. There ain't no place around here for squatters.
We got our rights. I'm coming through. Get out of the way.
Don't you try it. Hold it. What's the matter with you people? Is everybody gone loco?
They won't let us into town. We need supplies.
Who are you?
I'm Louise Keller. This is my father. We're homesteaders.
Homesteaders. That's a Tony name for squatters. We ain't selling them nothing. We're gonna starve them out before they rustle some more of our cattle.
She doesn't look like a rustler to me. You men are going off half-cocked. You've got no proof.
Nothing at all to tie him in with rustling. I've checked.
You keep out of this, Sheriff. You ain't done nothing about the rustling. You go back and tell them other squatters there ain't nothing for sale for them in this town. Not for any of them.
Get out of my way.
That's enough. Now listen to reason. There's more homesteaders in this area than there are ranchers. The merchants of the town rely on their business. Go ahead, starve them out if you want to, but what happens to your town then? That what you want?
All right, men. Clear this wagon out and let them through. Move it over.
Thank you, Mr. Bonner.
Thanks, Mr. Bonner.
It's quite all right, miss.
Oh, I was just telling the sheriff. That was mighty good thinking, Mr. Bonner.
Vint, this here's Joe Bronson. He's head of the Cattlemen's Association.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Mr. Bronson.
You know, these small ranch owners are getting out of hand. And there's not much I can do about it.
Can't hardly blame them none. Getting nicked for 2-3 cows at a time.
Whoever's guilty is getting away scot-free. That's what hurts.
Well, mob action ain't going to help any.
But they're not through yet. Maybe you could help us, Mr. Bonner.
I hardly think so, Mr. Bronson. My job's almost finished. I'm leaving town in a couple of days.
Now, you must eat hearty, Mr. Bonner.
Look, Miss Elizabeth. No, thanks.
It's all
Please, you've
for
got
you.
enough here for 10 men. Meat's good, though. Top-grade beef.
Beef? Good gracious, we never eat beef.
What is it?
Why, that's a rutabaga burger.
What?
A rutabaga burger. We make it with rutabagas and carrots. Everything we cook is made with our own vegetables.
Tastes good. You got another guest for dinner?
Oh, well, she was such a helpless little baby. We thought we'd take her in so we could take care of her. That is until we found out who she belongs to. Isn't it horrible, Mr. Bonner?
What?
Some people actually eat little calves like that.
Not alive, anyway.
We've even heard of people eating calves' liver.
Pretty good with onions.
Oh, steady, sister. Don't faint. Poor, innocent cow people.
Cow people?
So helpless. So completely at the mercy of man's inhumanity.
More coffee, Mr. Bonner?
No, thank you, Miss Abigail. I'm kind of tired all of a sudden.
Well, you've had a big day.
Yeah, I got up kind of early, but maybe I'll just get 40 winks, maybe.
Isn't he a nice boy? Do you think he'll be asleep long, sister?
All night. I put a little something in his coffee. After all, we've got work to do. There's a full moon.
Of course.
Ben, come on, boy. Come on, wake up. Open your eyes.
I feel woozy. I sleep here all night?
Vint, you gotta help me. Another herd was hit last night. The ranchers are mobilizing like an army. They're getting ready to burn houses. Homesteaders' houses.
Well, what do you expect me to do? You talk like I knew the rustlers personally.
Yeah, but they gotta be found, Vint. Only trouble is I don't know where to look next. It's like being lost in a cave and not knowing which way is out. I look one place. Rifles. Nothing. Then I look someplace else. Guns, rope, bullwhip, nothing at all. Then I look in another direction. And I still can't get any place. Stolen cows. Circle C Ranch. Man, you don't think those little ladies could...
There's probably a perfectly reasonable explanation for all this.
Sure.
They probably just... Well, maybe one of them... Well, how could... I give up.
Oh, Mr. Bonner. Oh, you're up. When we left, you were sleeping so soundly, we didn't have the heart to wake you.
And Sheriff Conroy, how nice of you to drop by.
We've been out picking wildflowers. Aren't they lovely this time of the year?
Miss Elizabeth, Miss Abigail, Sheriff Conroy wants to ask you something.
Oh? Are you in some kind of trouble, Sheriff Conroy?
No, ma'am, he's not in trouble. Well, while you were out, we found these.
The equipment only cowpunchers would use, or rustlers.
Sister, am I dreaming, or do Mr. Bonner and Sheriff Conroy think we are the cattle rustlers?
I'm afraid they do, sister.
Well, what about those guns and that bullwhip?
We're all alone out here. We need them for protection.
A girl can't be too careful these days.
Well, then what about those lassos?
Oh, is that what they are?
Why, they were left here by the man that we bought this house from. You see, sister? I told you those were too big to be clotheslines.
Gertrude, where have you been? Where have you been?
Well, bless your heart.
But what about it? That's the brand of the Circle C Ranch.
Well, goodness sake. We thought that was a birthmark.
Vint, I think we owe these ladies an apology.
I guess we do.
Good morning, Miss Abigail.
Sam
Miss
Dale.
Elizabeth.
Good morning.
Sheriff. You and Mr. Bonner got to help us.
Somebody just threw this on my front porch.
They say if we're not off our land by sundown, they're going to run us off.
The 6 head of cattle that disappeared from the Circle C Ranch last night must have been the last straw.
Mr. Bonner, we had a meeting last night. Every homesteader in the valley was there. They couldn't have been out stealing cattle even if they had a mind to.
Mr. Keller, do you mean you're to be driven from your land because of crimes you didn't commit?
Yes, ma'am. They just won't believe that we didn't do it.
Sister, will you help me get a bucket of fresh water for the flowers? Would you excuse us?
Oh, of course, sister.
Courage, my friends. Sister, we have no choice. We cannot let innocent people suffer because of our deeds.
But what about our poor little four-footed friend?
Other eager hands will reach out for the torch when we are forced to yield it.
Oh, how brave you are, sister. How very brave.
It's our duty. Come. Where are the Kellers going?
Home to pack their belongings.
All the homesteaders will be on the trail by sundown.
Their exodus is unnecessary. The true culprits stand before you ready to confess. Truly.
Ladies, this is no time for jokes.
I assure you, this is no joke. We are the cattle rustlers. Arrest us.
Oh, dear.
Execute us if you wish.
Oh, dear.
Ladies, I know your kind hearts. It's generous of you to want to help the homesteaders, but you can't ask us to believe that you two are cattle rustlers.
You were prepared to believe us a short while ago.
Well, that was before you explained things to us.
Sister, I think these gentlemen need convincing.
Truly they do, sister.
And now, do you believe us? We took the cows to a hidden canyon in the mountains of the Circle C Ranch, and they're so happy.
374 of them. Oh, yes, of course. 376 by now. Marilyn and Eloise were expecting.
But, ladies, why would you steal the cattle?
We weren't stealing them. We were saving them.
For what?
How can you look at that dear, sweet face and ask such a question?
Would you believe it? There are evil men who want to put Gertrude and those like her in hot, stuffy stomachs and fill them full of food to make them fat and tender. And then lead them to oh, dear. Don't think about it, sister. Oh, there, little sister.
But, ladies, how do you expect to save the cow people by just stealing a few of them? Cow people?
Alone, perhaps not. But all over this world, standing side by side with the animals they love, are people just like us, fighting to stamp out meat eaters.
Are you out of your mind? Oh, it's true, Joe. They did it. Some idea about making the world safe for cows or something. They did it.
I suppose you'll have to tell the ranchers.
Well, tell the ranchers nothing.
Well, what about them, Joe?
But let them go quick before anybody else finds out they're here. Look, I don't care if they confess to assassinating Lincoln. If the folks in this town find out that we think they're the rustlers, they'll lynch us.
He's right.
Yeah. Well, all right. All right, ladies, you can come out now.
Already?
Yes.
Oh, here, sister, let me put my knitting in your bag.
Do that, dear.
Can we help you in any way?
Oh, no, thank you. Our buggy's at the livery stable.
We're perfectly capable of taking care of ourselves.
That you are, Miss Abigail.
We'll wait dinner for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I hope we didn't inconvenience you, ladies.
Oh, no.
I'm terribly sorry about this.
Oh, that's all right.
Goodbye, Sheriff.
Goodbye, Miss Abigail. Goodbye, Miss Elizabeth. Goodbye. Well, it's only a few hours till sundown.
Hold everything just a minute. Look, if the ranchers knew we'd caught the rustlers, that would clear the homesteaders, wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, then let's give them some rustlers they will believe.
What are you talking about, Ben?
Look, one of us rides down the street yelling Arthur Dickens. The others rush out and say, that's the rustler. Then, by the time a posse gets organized, we'll be a mile out of town. We can say we shot him and he rolled down a hill in the river or something.
Well, that could be an idea. Nobody'd get wise to us.
Well, who's the rustler we chase out of town?
One of us, change him in different clothes or something. What do you say?
Well, it's worth a try. Oh, but I couldn't do it. You see, it's my word that the cattlemen will have to take that we shot him.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh, I'd have to lead the chase, Joe.
You're the sheriff.
That's a rustler. And we caught him red-handed. Yep, certainly looks like him, all right.
Well, I guess it'll take a little time to get up a posse, huh?
That's what you think, Sheriff. All right, boys, man. Miss Elizabeth, we're on the trail of the man that's been doing the cattle rustling. Have you seen anybody come this way?
Well,
Your cattle rustlers will bother you no longer. Oh, what have I done?
Oh, my sister. My poor little sister.
Now hold it, men. The little ladies are upset. You boys go on home. I'll take care of this.
Are you sure, Sheriff?
Don't you think we ought to go in with you, Sheriff?
No need for you men to stick around. Go ahead. I'll see you in town.
Oh, Miss Elizabeth, I'm sorry. Easy does it. Easy does it.
My poor little sister.
Oh, Vin! Vin, boy!
You were supposed to stall the posse.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vin, but you see, we...
Aside from these, I have 2 bullets in my saddle, and 1 glanced off my stirrup.
Well, I tried to tell the posse you'd gone off the cliff, Vin.
Where do you think I've been?
Well, it all came out all right. You're all in one piece.
No thanks to you. If it hadn't been for Miss Abigail there, I'd be a dead rustler.
Well, thank you, Miss Abigail.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Thanks from me, too, Miss Abigail.
Oh, I'm sure the homesteaders thank you, too. You are going to give up cattle rustling, aren't you?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, we've been thinking that we'd leave this territory altogether. We're going to California.
Yes, to California.
There's a great deal of our work to be done there.
A lot of people moving out that way.
Yes, and so many people are taking cows with them.